Welcome to the Bro Show Live. What is going on, everybody? I am Skillbo One. The panel is assembled, and we have guest Mr. Growit this evening.
How y'all doing?
Cheers. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Mr. Growit. I hear you like to be called Chris, so we'll do that. But we got to say your username so people can Google you. Mr. Growit, you see it on the neon sign. Thank you very much for joining us. He's a YouTube professional. He's on all sorts of videos, podcast shows, and etc. I mentioned him on our Instagram page today. From the Stash. Works with the CLTV guys. We've interviewed them before. And he also does some of his own stuff. So that's really cool. Fergoli is going to share a little bit of that here. We learned about these guys through Painted Lady. She was on his show that's now over 100,000 views. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you check that out. That is incredible. Probably the most popular of all of our appearances on anything. So that's amazing. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That episode of Painted Lady was incredible. I mean, people loved what was said within that episode. We were talking about different ways to feed bottled nutrients and nutrients that we've used in the past and so on and so forth. Very, very valuable video for a lot of people, a lot of positive feedback in the comments. So yeah, if you haven't seen that yet, definitely recommend you tune in sometime in the future.
I was nervous. I couldn't even say rhizosphere. I think I said rhizosphere or something. I was so nervous. So I'm glad that there's good feedback on that because I sounded like an idiot at times. But I really.
Yeah, she was like, she was saying she was so nervous to do the show, and I hadn't heard of you yet at that time. And I was like, why are you so nervous? We do shows all the time, and now it's got 100,000 views. I get it. I totally get it. So we appreciate you being here, sharing your knowledge with our viewers.
If you take the sum total of all of our videos, we might be in that neighborhood, a little south of it, but we're getting there.
We're almost to 500,000, so I'm sure they're well past that if that's what his videos are getting. That's for sure.
It's a good way to do a cheap plug, and so we can flex a little bit.
I mean, there's shows that are smaller than ours, but theirs isn't one of them. That's for sure. But anyhow, we appreciate you for being here, and I've got some questions I wrote down. I think that the first one we like to go with is like, what got you into growing? You know, that's the lead-in question I like to ask everybody. What inspired you to grow in the first place?
Well, I mean, I've been consuming cannabis honestly since I was 12, and I'm 36 now, so I've been smoking for quite a while, and you know, it was black market for so many years. So I've been through all of that. But when it started to become legal, actually it was right before then, is when I started growing. I started growing in 2010. So I've been going for about 12 years now. And then, as most of you remember, we went rec in Colorado, and I think it was Washington in 2012. Correct me if I'm wrong there. It might have been Oregon. But you know, for me, starting to grow was more about like not paying for it. You know what I mean? So like being able to grow my own and harvest my own and smoke my own. You know, home grow is always better than the stuff on the streets.
Absolutely.
So that's what kind of got me into it. I had a friend who he grew, and I would go over his house, and it would just be like, it was kind of like mind blowing. The first time you see plants, like healthy plants of flowering, and you're like, whoa, what is this all about? You know, and he had the Fox Farm nutrients, Fox Farm soil. And so like I was picking his brain on it, and then I got my plants going, and he was just my mentor. You know what I mean? He had already been through several grows. So he had just told me what to do with the Fox Farm nutrients, Fox Farm soil, HID lighting.
Seed or clones?
Those are from seed. Yeah. He
Okay.
said, yeah.
Nice.
And so, we just started growing, and I spent the first 6 years actually just in Fox Farm soil and Fox Farm nutrients, the trio of nutrients. Yeah. And then I actually I really started watching YouTube in like 2014-ish, 2013-ish, as far as like growers. I was like, holy crap, there's people actually posting their grows on here. I didn't even know that was allowed.
Do you remember any of the names from back then that you were watching on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
a lot of these guys followed a lot of old YouTubers. They like to mention them
Grateful
sometimes.
Grower.
For Growly.
Grateful Grower. Yeah.
I love him. His coffee cup.
Yep. He was awesome. Man, I'm coming up blank to begin. Putting on the spot here.
Urban Remo.
Remo.
Medicropper.
I had a similar experience when I had a friend look at my garden that had only consumed cannabis before. He was like, you know what? I never thought about the before it's in a bag part of cannabis before. To him, it was always just a product. And he looked at it and he was like, this is really fascinating that you know how to do this. And it was really foreign to them. And I thought, and that's really cool that you kind of had a similar experience.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, just like any beginner grower, my first few grows, well, not every beginner grower, but a lot of beginner growers back then, which I didn't have much information. So my grows weren't really that great to begin, right? I think nowadays people have kind of a leg up, right? They can go on YouTube. There's plenty of websites now where you can go and learn and see, what the final results should be.
Definitely. Now it seems to be more common that people have like a lot of beginner's luck and then have the problems that we started with, and then really doubt themselves or struggle with, whatever PM or herm plants and this and that.
Yep. And that's how you get better, right? Is going through those downsides.
Yep.
You learn, and then you look to improve. Continuous improvement is definitely something I believe in. So.
Exactly. So you started back then, and let me see, where'd you leave off?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where I left off. So like 2015-ish is when I posted my first video on YouTube. And, I had some experience, doing the filming and editing before. I was doing like comedy videos for a little while. And then I was like, hey, I like growing. I like the filming and editing. People are actually doing that on YouTube. I think if YouTube allows it, it could actually turn into something. So I was like, why not start? So I started, My channel back then was actually called Just Grow It. And that channel actually it was my channel to begin, but it turned it into a community channel. For those that don't know what a community channel is, it's basically a channel where growers from all over can submit in videos, and the best videos will get featured onto the channel. So it was like a new video every day, submission based. And that lasted until like 2018, the beginning of 2018, I believe. And then YouTube killed that off. That's the great YouTube.
I was going to ask if you got hit by that bandwagon. Yeah, exactly.
I remember when that happened. That was devastating.
They called it the purge.
It was like 685 videos down the drain.
Man.
Just, boom. And so that was completely crushed. But I had restarted another channel in like 2017, which is a channel that I have now, my main channel, and just continued to post my videos on there and grow it since then. So since then, I've also, I've written a book for beginners called 7 Steps to Grow Cannabis. That's available on Amazon and my website. I am part of multiple podcasts. I have a Garden Talk podcast with me, and then guests like Peyton Lady was on one of them. We're up to episode like 60 something now. From the Stash podcast, me, Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV, and Pigeons 420. That's another podcast. And I have an unfiltered podcast because my Garden Talk podcast is kind of like, it's called Clean. We try to keep things clean, try to keep it monetized so we can reach a larger audience. Because once YouTube suppresses your content, I mean, you're not getting any views. So I wanted to try to do something clean and focus on all plants, not just cannabis. Mm-hmm. So we have growers, like we had somebody on talking about tomatoes one time. And then I have my unfiltered, which is just talk about whatever, it's not just cannabis growing, but all cannabis topics. So.
Now, is that just, interviewer prep, or is that a lot of like heavy editing on the back end to kind of keep it clean? Because I'll be honest, like I kind of knew who you were before I even watched one of your videos. And then I watched a couple of your videos and I'm like, oh, wow, he's doing a real good job of like skirting around this. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I kind of wish I would have thought of that 6 years ago or whatever, I mean, obviously the enforcement kind of just forced that upon you, but how do you manage that from a production standpoint?
Well, like you mentioned, it kind of is up front, right? So I warn people up front that we want to do a clean podcast in order to reach the larger audience, so no showing plants, cannabis plants. YouTube will just age restrict your video right then and there. Avoiding saying the words cannabis, weed, or marijuana. Have people call them hemp or medicinal plants. It's fine. People know. But yeah, it's easier than you think to avoid saying those words and just talk about, saying plants, talk about plants in general. And a lot of things that we do when we grow cannabis relates to other plants as well. So sure. I have people that don't even grow cannabis that watches that podcast, and cool. They get a lot of valuable information on it because we're talking about, regenerative gardening. We're talking about organics. We're talking just all sorts
IPM,
of
everything.
Stuff. Yeah.
I love it. Just so many different topics. Like you said, you're up to 60 plus episodes now, and each one is pretty much a different, at least a different perspective on a topic. It's great.
Exactly.
For the chat real quick, I know that you guys aren't super involved in YouTube or anything, but there's thousands of words that you can't say in show titles. Your videos will get pulled down immediately or demonetized. There's thousands of words you can't say within like the first 5 minutes of a show or within a show, or your videos will get pulled down or demonetized. That stuff happens to all of our shows. So that's what he's trying to avoid.
That's why we stay broke.
I blame
us real.
It's usually me.
We like to smoke on the air, and we like to swear, and we like to say all the words. So you can feel free to do all that stuff here. That's what our show is for. I do like that you do have the cannabis show. You do show plants. You do have the diversity. You just have to split it up, or they will eventually nuke those channels, probably ours someday. And that's just the nature of the beast.
Exactly.
So you're out in Vegas. That's got to be challenging. And talk about some of the challenges that you have with battling the environment, growing cannabis out there with the heat and the dry conditions and everything. That's got to be a challenge.
Oh, it really is. I mean, I've been taking off summers. The past couple summers, I've been taking off like July, August. Basically, it's 100 degrees outside every single day, roughly from like June, July, August, even sometimes into September outside. So like my AC is cranking all the time. I battle the heat when it comes to those months. So I try to work around like not growing on those months. Typically I'll grow into June-ish, but I'll try to take July and August off. Maybe I'll plant in mid-August. And then the rest of the year I grow around. It's very dry as well. So I actually have to have humidifiers running at all times, 24 hours a day. Not only, so I'm a small home grower. I just have one grow room, one spare bedroom, and I have multiple tents in there. So I have a 4x4 and I have a 2x4. So I do have a humidifier in my main lung room. A lot of people call it lung room. And then I have a humidifier inside the tents as well. I know to try to boost up that humidity. I know a lot of people are facing an opposite situation, which is they have dehumidifiers.
We do here, that's for sure. Yeah,
because it's so humid. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a challenge is keeping that humidity up, because once it drops, I mean, the bud quality, in my opinion, just goes down the drain. If you're running a 20% humidity throughout flowering, it's just, in my opinion, it's just not ideal.
We don't
start
get
getting
that
nice and light.
Sounds like us in the winter growing.
Yeah, I was gonna say we deal with both, and I actually do have both in my room, but my humidifier does not run very often unless I'm like it's winter and I don't have a lot of plants in there or something. But with a full room, it's just yeah.
Okay, Chris, what's the lowest humidity that you've had in a room that you've walked into?
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now. 16%. It's been in the last 36 hours.
Damn.
It's usually, I think maybe 11-ish is probably the lowest I've ever seen it.
Have you ever had single digits before?
Highest here it's been is 27. I don't know.
The struggle with like these commercial or these homes level humidifiers is getting water in them all the time, because they don't have a way to like put a water line or something like that you'd have in a commercial building. Is that something you fight? You got to check humidifiers like two, 3 times a day, that type of stuff?
Once a day. So I have a smart humidifier. It's called LaVolt. It's one of the newer ones on the market. It's actually top fill, which is super cool. And so much easier than having to take it off and flip it upside down and screw the thing and then load the water in. So it's top fill. Holds about, I think it's close to 1.5 gallons, around 1.5 gallons of water. So all the other ones were like 1 gallon. They were running out within 24 hours. This one lasts me a little bit over 24 hours. But like having multiple humidifiers, I have one in each tent. So I have 2 in tents and then 1 in the grow room. So I have 3, and then I have backup ones as well. So I do last 24 hours for the humidifier. And then I actually went on vacation for a week, and it's funny. I had, like I said, they were smart controlled, so I can look it on my app and control it through that. I had the ones that weren't smart controlled fired up, and they were going. And then like once the humidity dropped, I got an alert, and I was like, okay, fire up the next one. You know what I mean? Like get the next one going. That one I cut a day later. That one out. So fire up the next one. So it's a battle. It's really a battle trying to keep that humidity up.
I bet. And no growing outside. There's like no growing outside for you guys there.
No, I don't think it's legal for home grow here. I'm part of the medical program here in this state. That's how I'm able to grow. And I'm also not growing cultivars that are available in the dispensary out here. So it's kind of like a little bit of a loophole, I guess they have in this medical system here. But I don't think they allow outdoor growing. I could be wrong on that, but I think for the medical programs, it's got to be indoor.
You mentioned cultivars, and that was the next place that I wanted to go. When you're growing strains, do you prefer to grow new like seeds over every time, for variety, or do you have like clones you like to run, like strains that you prefer?
I've just been doing seed. I've done cloning in the past. I've kept cultivars around, but like I mentioned earlier, I don't grow year round. The summer months I take off. So, I'll clean out the garden then, and I don't do perpetual. So like I'll plant a bunch of seeds, grow that out completely, harvest, and then plant more seeds and then grow those out. Harvest.
I like that. I like the variety.
Yeah. I just grow for myself. So I grow a variety as well, just several different cultivars, and I'm just consuming for myself, or if friends come through, I am allowed to gift here legally in the state. So, Vegas is a hot spot for people to come through to vacation. It's like, hey, come drop something off to you, drop off a gift packs every now and then. So
awesome. Right, your favorite growing style? You've done everything pretty much, yeah. So
I haven't done DWC. I haven't done like aquaponics. I haven't done any of those things, but
you like cocoa and soil and all that. But what's your favorite? What's your go-to?
I do prefer soil. Cocoa has its advantages. We could sit here and debate about cocoa versus soil all night long if we really wanted to. But soil, things I like about it is that it tends to hold the water a little bit longer, so I don't have to water as often. Some lazy grower techniques, I guess you'd call, or efficient grower techniques, is to try to spend less time in the garden sometimes, challenge yourself so I'm not over processing or working too hard on things. With cocoa, being in a dry environment, I did have to water more. So it's like, oh, I'll stick with soil and won't have to water as often. Although I do have auto watering systems now that I've been using. So I'm kind of hands off on auto watering for the most part. When there's seedlings are in there and veg, I'll hand water and then add in the system later on. But yeah.
I was going to ask about automatic watering. I'm all for, growing smarter, not harder, so to speak. And I think an automatic watering system, it takes a literal load off in so many different ways. So if you can dial that in, it's a great way to grow. But I got to wonder if growing in cocoa in a super dry environment with the automatic drip system or something that maybe ran 5 to 7+ times a day wouldn't actually be a little bit healthier for the plants, just because they are getting a more constant feed of water, and while they're battling, this, well, I guess what would it be, a lack of transpiration? How does that work with? Oh, you're muted.
They're probably transpiring a lot in the high humidity, I would guess.
Yeah, transpiration increases as the humidity
Low
gets lower.
Okay, so yeah, all that just coming right off, which I don't know, maybe adds to the humidity too, if it's tense in a room kind of thing. I don't know, just a thought.
It's definitely helpful. You're absolutely right. Ever since I added the auto watering system, right now I'm using Blue Mats. I've used auto pots before in the past as well. It definitely helps add that humidity to the environment, being on an auto watering system where the moisture level is pretty equal, pretty much the same throughout the time that you have the auto watering system going. So it's helpful.
It's just such a low humidity. It's like, how do you might as well spray down the carpet every day,
Exactly. I see that you've been trying new stuff all the time, like you used auto pots, soil, cocoa, seeds, clones, all of that sort of stuff. When you're choosing these things, are you choosing them just to try stuff? Or are you choosing them based on like sponsors for the show, that type of stuff? Are you getting like new things and they're like, hey, try this? That sort of deal.
Sometimes, yeah, like Light Perspective, for example, sent me over their Grow Light to try out their new one, the KS5000. And so I'm running that right now for a Grow series. Yeah, people like to see new things, you know what I mean, is what I found out.
Right.
Doing this for so long, people want to see new things. If I did the same thing over and over again, people kind of get bored. People have commented on my videos and like, oh, the same thing, doing the same germination method that you've done and 15 videos before. It's
sure, and you're only one guy, right?
Yeah, right.
We have this panel here. So Spartan grows using Sips, Red grows using cocoa and Jax. We've got Painted Lady grows with soil. All the different styles here.
And the thing is
easier
that
for us.
people also want to see newer videos because that they know that your techniques are always changing. So, like the people that we've followed the most, I'll use like Med Grower as an example. I've watched him, where we can use NV Closet. Okay. NV Closet probably has 5 different videos on cloning, and they're all right. They're not all the same thing. It's like, just because you've created the content, we can't expect the content viewers to go back into our catalogs all the time and find that one video. So keeping it fresh, keeping it relevant, that's good.
Yeah. When you've tried all that stuff, you have the perspective to answer all the questions. And somebody asks like, how should I clone? You go, I tried these 5 ways. This is how I would recommend you do it. That's really good.
I like seeing this during the life of a show. As people grow, they start to change. So people, like in the beginning, I'll use like the deep water culture cloning methods. Okay, so in the beginning, like 1 or 2 people are using them, and then like, wow, well, all these professional places, they're using them for production, and then you see more people start trying them, and then different things like Spartan got everybody started on using like rapid rooters and just throwing the seed right in there and starting off rather than the paper towel method.
I actually started using Bloom Yellow bottles because of your show. And you had, I don't know, they must have sent some to you to try out one time, and you seemed to really like them. And I was like, man, his plants look awesome. I am going to try that stuff. And so I actually hunted them down, and they're by far my favorites still to this day. I just went through a whole round. I switched up my whole grow style because I was looking into going to the commercial route, and went to cocoa and salts and everything. And man, I'm back in soil and those Bloom Yellow bottles, and it's all because of what you showed on your show. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that you do rotate things and show new things, because people like me do pay attention and want to try new things. So Pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
remember during our interview on Garden Talk, you had mentioned that. And yeah, Bloom Yellow bottles, it definitely works. It definitely works. The organic line, bottle
Mhm.
line.
Yeah.
And that was my first time using it, is what I filmed and
Mhm.
went through. And the plants came out pretty good. So,
Yeah.
and then, I continued to switch it up from there. And the only thing I don't like about the Bloom Yellow, it can be a little bit pricey. They do have a good amount of bottles and it can be pricey, but
Sure.
hey, it is very concentrated. It goes a long way, the
Mhm.
concentration goes a long way. So, yeah.
It smells really bad, so you know it must work, right? As an
Terrible.
organic
That's how
product.
you
She
know
opens
it's
those
organic.
bottles and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, bad, real bad. But yeah, exactly. You know that they're working. Holy shit is right, because that's what's in it.
That's right. I noticed that all of your pots now have cover crops on them. Do you want to talk about cover crops a little bit? That's something that we don't do a ton of here on our show, is cover crop in our organic grows.
The only cover crop I've messed around with is the white Dutch clover. So clover is, from what I learned, a nitrogen fixing plant. It basically takes nitrogen from the air, converts it into a form that's usable for the plants, and dumps it down in the medium so the plant can uptake it. So I've been using that. Mixed. Seems to be a lot of mixed feelings on clover in particular. I heard that pests feed off it, so a lot of people avoid it. I heard people saying that it robs nutrients from the plant, and a lot of these things I think are subjective. I don't know if there's any studies to back any of them, but I personally use it for the water retention purposes and for the nitrogen fixation purposes. So that's all I use for a cover crop. I do use a mulch layer, the barley straw mulch layer. I use that for water retention purposes. Again, living in a very dry environment, living in the desert, really growing in the desert, it's helpful to have that top layer, the top mulch layer. So the layer underneath it, which is often where the organic amendments are there, they need to be moist. They need to be moist. The microbes can be active on there. They can be breaking it down and then turning them into the nutrients available for the plants. So running cover crop and mulch layers has been beneficial for me.
Yeah, that's a good advantage, definitely, to hold the water in there. Anything you can do to hedge your bets in that category, I think you've got to try. As you're growing, have you kind of found like a favorite breeder? I was looking through your Instagram and stuff. It seems like you try all sorts of different breeders. Have you gotten any sort of a preference towards one or the other?
Got to give a shout out to THC Titan from Square One Genetics. Everything I've grown out from him has been unbelievable. So frosty all the way down, dense bud structures all the way down on just everything that he sent me over. So definitely Square One Genetics. Subcool Seeds, I had some luck with him. I grew out his Queen Anne's Revenge. That was probably like my favorite plant, ever. It's this beautiful plant. It actually turned from like a green to a purple, like slowly working its way down the plant towards the end of flowering, like during that
Nice.
senescence. It was just absolutely beautiful. Dense nut structures throughout the whole way down, frosty the entire way down, and a real narcotic effect when consuming. So that was definitely one of my favorites.
It's pretty terpy too. Usually sub stuff is really terpy too. Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. TH Seeds is another one I like. Prism Labs, up and coming. That's from Chronic 420 Inc. He was formerly of North Genetics, which is pretty popular. He went off and branched off into his own thing, and so he's got a line. And everything I've grown out there has been awesome. So those are a couple that I can think of off the top of my head.
That was a good answer for sure.
What kind of other equipment do you use? Obviously, the battle with the environment is a challenge, but like, what about lights? What kind of lights are you using in your tents?
Right now, I'm using the Viper Spectra KS5000 on the current grow. That thing's running pretty good. I mean, that's for a 4x4 space bar light. Has a dimmer on it. You can dim it down, lower the power. Before that, I was using the SF2000 by Spider Farmer. So the board style light. And that was really for a 2x4 grow space. So I had that in my 2x4 for a while and had it on one side of my 4x4. Also been using the Green Sunshine Company ES180 V3, and then also the ES300 V3. And actually, I use the V2 and the V1 as well.
How are you remembering all these? Like,
That's what I was thinking
this
too.
is
What are all
insane.
these model numbers? Wow, well done.
I don't know. I was a little nerd into lights for a little while. I did par tests for like a
For a
year.
long time. I remember those unboxing and the power test videos you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean back then this was like 2019, I think 2019-ish. There was a lot of companies misleading consumers. I mean, there still is today, let's be honest. But
So
you know,
many,
you look at their par chart and their numbers are inflated. So like my whole goal with that was just to show people like, hey, you know, this will help you set your light distance potentially if you're looking to see what the PPFD is at the footprint. So you know, as I move in the par meter around the footprint, so people can see how well the light spread is, if the company is actually telling the truth in
what the
regards
wattage
to
actually is.
exactly the
that sort of
wattage,
stuff.
yeah, all that stuff.
You mean my 1,000-watt Blurple isn't 1,000 watts from the wall? It's only
not?
pulling 110, man.
But it was a lot of work doing those
Yeah,
things. But it was
exactly.
fun, like learning about lighting and stuff like that. So I feel like I have like intermediate knowledge. But there's just so many avenues to go down, right? When it comes to growing, soil science is another area people can go down. Breeding is another area people
There's
can
a
go
lot
down.
of money
so.
people have lost on those lights, you know, getting the wrong stuff, me included. I had
gonna
like
say, you're talking about
$3,000 of the wrong LED lights at one point
Really?
in time. Oh yeah. I won't name the company on air. We can talk about it after, but yeah, you know, you can be misled by good marketing if you aren't educated. And at that time I wasn't. And that caused me to become like an intermediate lighting nerd like yourself. I've got a little bit of knowledge about a lot of things. Go ahead for Girly.
Another lane, you talked about breeding, which is one I'd love to get down, but another lane is extracts. Are you into extra? Are you strictly a flower guy? Do you like your hash or?
I do have a rosin press. I'm terrible with it. I'll attempt to press once in a while, and I'm definitely nothing special when it comes to it. But I do enjoy, you know, a dab every now and then, for sure. But I'm definitely nowhere near good when it comes to pressing. It's an art. You know what I mean? It's got to be the perfect humidity. You got to be pressing at the right temperature for the right length. And I feel like, you know, if there's any variation, it can throw things off. At least in my experience, you know.
I had one of those rosin bomb rockets for a minute. I think I probably used it 4 times at the most, maybe 3. I was like, I'm selling it. Yeah, I agree. You just, you know, you got to know what you're doing for sure.
Yeah, I got this like 2x4" or like 3x4. I don't know. It's like the size of a business card, you know, heated plate thing. The Best Value Vax sent me when they were Best Value Vax, and I used it a handful of times. You know, dry sifted some stuff out. Tried flour, even tried squishing fresh frozen, which was a terrible mess. And you know, I don't know. I just didn't really get it.
I heard you're really good though now, right? You got your own line or whatever.
Oh, well, yeah, with the hydrocarbon extraction. So I've been doing that maybe 6-7 years, something like that at this point. But, you know, again, like you just said, it's really about consistency when it comes to stuff like that. And, you know, doing it for as long as I have, it's pretty darn consistent, you know, but, you know, I'm
And
not
the
changing
winning
up my
genetics,
process.
too, though.
You have to have a
know what
lot
I
of
mean?
product to do that when you're growing in just a bedroom and all you're doing. Like I pressed rosin flower when I first started, and I had a horrible time, like you said. You get like really bad yields, they're really wrong color, and then you're looking online, you're like, these guys can do this. Why am I even bothering? You know, and that stuff.
Who bought a hair straightener when that was like when it first came out?
Sure.
I did. I went to
And you're like
Target.
stepping
Who
on it
fucked
and
their wife's
shit,
hair
standing
straightener
on
up?
it.
Yep. Straight
Yeah,
up
you
standing
break your
on it.
wife's hair straightener first, and then you go get a different one. And then they had rosin hair straighteners that were specifically made just for pressing rosin. What a joke that was, right? And then t-shirt presses for pressing rosin, and then all.
Oh,
all
we
sorts
tried
of stuff.
everything. I don't know. I see some of these guys though; they got it down pat now. Holy crap!
Yeah, you look, you see Mr. Canucks grow. He's making these videos where your mouth is just watering, watching him press things. It's like, oh man, how does he do it?
I stole his
Yeah,
dry
I watched
sifting
him
method.
too.
I got all sorts of
Pedro's grow.
non-solvent.
Oh yeah, all
Pedro's
sorts of goodies.
You holding them like dominoes for growing.
How
I
you
want to play
do it.
dominoes with these.
So are you a blunt smoker then? Blunts or joints or what? Are you?
I've been-
You got your pen today.
Yeah, smoked just about every way. Usually, it's been blunts for a while since I picked up a couple boxes of Dutch Masters, and so Berry Fusion is kind of my go-to for the blunts. I usually smoke one of those a day, 1 or 2 of those a day. But yeah, I've just got a pen today. This is Runts live rosin, So, one thing out here in Vegas is they sell a lot of distillate, which I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know
Same.
what your opinion on distillate is, but it seems like
we
it's
can
like
get into it if you
85
want.
it's like
Very popular in our
85%.
market. Well,
Eight-
our commercial market.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think
good.
that exists everywhere. As distillate is like the most common way to remediate really poor product, right? So you're never going to have a run out of that supply. So there's always going to be distillate around, where that product has to be made into something. I wanted to ask, because you held up a pen, I'm sure that you didn't make your pen yourself. One of the most famous dispensaries in the world is in Vegas. Have you ever been to Planet 13 up there? And what's that like?
Oh yeah, yep, I've been
It's
there.
like, and what's that like?
I know he's been there.
Yep, it's I think it's the largest dispensary in the States or maybe even the world. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it's well over 10,000 square feet. You walk in there and they've got it's almost kind of like walking to like a mall in a sense. Like you walk in, you have to be cleared by them. They check you in, they give you your ID and all that stuff. It's like a round table, like you're walking into like a large office corporate building type thing, and then, oh man, my cats are going crazy behind me. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. But you walk in there and I think there's like 75 registers or something like that. So like,
Wow.
you go in there, you get like a number to begin, or you hook it up to your phone and then you get a text message when they're ready to see you at the counter. And then you've just got display after display after display after display that you can walk around. And then you'll go up to whatever counter you're at, and then you'll talk to the bud tender and get what you want. They're also expanding. They're actually going to, I'm not sure if they already have a restaurant in there or not, but I know they're going to have a consumption lounge in there as well. I believe that
Nice.
just passed local laws to have consumption, or it's about to pass or something like that. And so they're going to have a consumption lounge right there. So you'll be able to buy it. Yeah. See, there's a dispensary check-in. You can see.
Wow.
And then you can consume right there. So that'll be pretty cool. A bit overpriced, in my opinion, but I mean, that's
You can't have a fountain out
expected,
front.
right?
They know their
without having it
market.
Overpriced.
Just
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
say, that fountain alone probably was a mill.
Yeah, right.
People don't go to Vegas to be fucking thrifty.
True. I was wondering if they had any consumption lounges there, if that was legal yet or not. Because
It hasn't opened up yet. I believe the laws just passed, or they're about to pass, or something like that. And so lounges are just starting to open up. And I'm not sure if it's going to be this year or the beginning of next year. But it'll be great to finally have lounges around here, because right now you're not allowed to consume on the public, and you're not allowed to consume on any of the hotel properties. So a lot of folks will come to Las Vegas. They'll come to Las Vegas Strip or to Fremont Street, which is the old Las Vegas. And you can't you can't smoke in your room or anything like that. You can't go down and smoke outside. You're not supposed to. People still do. Like, that's all you smell on the Las Vegas Strip now is weed. But it'll be nice when they actually have lounges somewhere you can actually consume, because right now people are doing it illegally.
I was going to ask how often you guys get hassled if you do smoke around. I know some places that's a law and you don't get, like, I smoked in Chicago. We smoked in Chicago, no problem. It's definitely against the law to smoke in public in Chicago, allegedly. But some places are really strict on that and you don't want to do so, so I was wondering about that. If you're smelling it, it's probably not that big of a deal.
Yeah, to be completely honest with you, with COVID, this city got hit hard, really hard. I mean, they shut down. There's reporting loss after loss after loss. I was just at the Rio Casino not too long ago, a couple different times actually, and that place is a complete dump. It's right off the strip, so it's not actually on the strip, but it is like a ghost town in there. And going outside to smoke, like once you go outside, like the main area, there's like a valet, and we were smoking by there to begin, but the guy's like, hey, just go down there. You know what I mean? So they want the business, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they're not going to be like, you have to leave the property. They're not like calling cops or anything like that. They're just like, hey, go somewhere where it's not going to bother people. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, they need the money. They
don't want to get in front of the 5-star hotel smoking, but you can smoke around the corner. I get that.
Well, BizCon's there, right? Every year. They have the MJ BizCon in November. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. It's right in your backyard.
Yeah, MJ BizCon, we were there in November. So really cool event. Actually, Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV and Pigeons came down, and we all attended the event together. And such a blast. It's huge. Oh my God, booth after booth after booth. You can't get through it in one day. You know, you have to have multiple days in order to get through it. They're there
Here's
on
the
screen
guys
right
at the
there,
BizCon.
Yep. So that was taken at the top of the Bellagio parking lot. You can see the building in the background, kind of a cool
Nice.
shot there. We had a photographer, Muffin, B Puffin. Credit to her. She's amazing
Great
cannabis
name.
photographer.
Yeah, she took some great pictures of you guys. They were really cool.
Yeah, but NBA BizCon was a blast, and I definitely recommend everybody to come out there. It's kind of expensive. I think you can get early bird tickets on there for a couple $100. That's expensive, you know,
Mhm.
but I think it's worth it. You know, you just meet so many people. Almost every company's there. You can, you know, on a business standpoint, you can meet people and so on and so forth.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to get out there sometime. Had plans this year, but I don't know about that anymore. But I've never been to Vegas. I got to come check that out. I mean, I'm not a gambler or really, but I mean, Vegas.
We
is-
learned that we have a friend in Vegas that'll give us care packages, Painted Lady.
Yeah, I know. That's what
Come on down.
It's legal to give.
Hell yeah.
Something else that I wanted to talk about, you were talking, sex testing. I saw you have some Farmer Freeman, I think, tags in some of your plants. How do you like sex testing versus the good old fashioned way of vegging out plants and throwing them in your flower room to figure out their male?
I think it makes it much easier, you know, because I do grow a lot of regular seeds, you know, and as we know, you could become male or female. Typically, it's about 50%. Sometimes I've had it be like 60 or 70% males, and so it's tough having to grow those out for several weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then find out that they're males and killing them off. You know, so you're spending time and money, energy, all that stuff.
Hand watering, filling up humidifiers, popping the
Space,
seeds in the first place, space, soil,
exactly.
the whole deal.
So it's a great advantage to be able to plant seeds, and then once they sprout, just snipping off that called leading leaf and sending that out for testing. And literally, I'm killing off plants by day 7, day 10. You know what I mean? So they don't get
wow.
very
You're
far
not
at all.
transplanting them and all of that stuff. all
Yep,
that
eliminating that
extra work.
transplant process. Yep, saving space, all that
Is
stuff.
it super expensive to do that?
I think it's like $15
Oh,
per.
that's not bad.
And so some people are like, "Oh, that's crazy," you know. And some people are like, "Oh, I'll absolutely pay $15."
Yeah,
You know,
that's
so
not bad.
it's subjective on whether or not that's a good deal or not. I think he does like package deals. I think if you order like 10 or more, you can get a discount. I forget what the
Okay.
discount is. It might be like
Yeah.
a 120 for like 10 or something like that. But yeah, the more you buy, you can get like a discount on it. But I love it. Yeah, definitely helpful in my opinion.
There's some competition in the sex testing realm. You can try Delta Leaf Labs, Farmer Freeman. There's a couple other companies. They all are right about $8, $10, $15 a piece, that sort of deal for the test, depending on how many you buy. I really love the idea of doing it. If you're a smaller scale grower and you're only growing a pack of seeds at a time, it makes a lot of sense. If you're growing like a field of them at a time, it's obviously impossible. But for most of our viewers, it makes a lot of sense, I think.
Yeah, it does, because I just ripped out 3 males out of my room today.
Which ones were they?
Man, you don't want to know, Scalebo.
She's mad at you right now,
I'm
Skillbo.
mad at you.
No.
Yep. It was both those fucking OGKs. So,
Dude, man, I led you down the primrose path.
man.
That's all right. You still got the Romulans, though, man.
No, dude. That one is the male too.
What?
Yep. All 3 of them.
All these legacy strains, man.
Yeah, all the legacy strain.
And it was because I just Chris, like you said, it's easier just to grow a few and then be able to do that. When I was packing my rooms, trying to find exotic, cool new strains for my potential commercial license, and my grow got away from me along with my day job, and I'm trying to build a business, and I didn't do the whole cloning and checking and all that stuff, and I was thinking they were femmes, and I threw them in there, and now I've got these 6-foot plants that I had to rip out and be like, well, that was a waste of goddamn time. But they were beautiful plants. If anybody wants a Romulan and roadkill skunk or some OG Kush BX5, I've got 3. Come and get them. They're not dead yet.
Not yet. She doesn't kill plants. She just sits them in the corner and
Yeah,
waits
I
for them to
hate
die.
Waits for them to go on their own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't have the stomach to actually chop them, so she lets them all die, which I think is worse, but it's up to interpretation.
I just
Ah.
put mine outside and
Yeah,
just watch them melt
Starvation.
away.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, quick, give me a
Just
quick death. What do
suffer.
you want? You want a quick death, or you want it to wilt away
Yeah,
into
chop
nothing?
'em up.
I don't know. I was pretty much wilting away into nothing because I couldn't eat after taking this tolerance break, but I'm back. Had some Arby's tonight.
We have the meats.
I don't think I've ever heard her eat Arby's before today, but she ate Arby's today.
Anyway, back to the guest.
Hey, Arby's is shit.
We had a question, Mr. Grow It, in the chat asking if you scrog. So I'll generalize that and ask you what your training techniques are. I know that you've done some single cola grows to get a nice big cola for the gram. I know you've done obviously topping and stuff. What do you like to do?
Typically, I'll do topping. I'll top the plant, with the fourth or the fifth node, let those lower branches kind of grow out, try to maintain an even canopy somewhat. And then low stress training, pulling those branches down in order to try to maintain even canopy. Those are the two main things I do. I've experimented around, tried to do the fimming before. That's always fun to try to get them to branch off in all those different directions, putting it at the right spot to get them to branch off. Super cropping, I only really do that if I have issues trying to maintain an even canopy. I'll just super crop it, kind of bend that over, and then let the other branches kind of grow up. Trellis net, yeah, I've used that before, used that several times in the past. A true scrog or a scrug, I don't know.
It's definitely a bastardized term for sure.
Yeah,
Scrogging,
yes. So I don't know if you're talking about like trying to fill up every single square and you know what I mean, and trying to maximize yield. I haven't really done that. I usually just use a trellet for support purposes. You know what I mean? I'll bend them down and try to even, fill up the squares, but not entirely. Like I don't need to grow for yield. I'm just growing for myself. So oftentimes I'll just grow smaller plants. I'll grow a bunch of different smaller plants,
Sure.
different varieties. So that way I only really aim for like 2-3 ounces per plant. Any more than that, and I find myself that, if I have a bunch of different cultivars, 2 to 3 ounces per plant, well, then I have to give away a lot more because I don't get through it. You know what I mean? So,
Sure. I know a lot of people use scrogging means a lot of things to a lot of people nowadays, but most of the time it means trellising in the way that you described. The old classic way of scrogging where you veg into a net for like a month so you can get one plant into a 4x4. That's not something that most people do unless they're really trying to do that for a reason.
Right. It's like a little trivia bit here. Scrog is based on, it stands for screen of green, which is the alternate of sea of green. Sea of green method being you would have like a bunch of like 1 gallon pots and you would fill that 5x5 that your light is giving you with just nothing but basically small plants that give you nothing but beautiful tops.
Yeah, you never top them, so you got a bunch of single cola plants filling up one.
That's an
space.
interesting thing though, Sequence, because Painted Lady has just told us that she basically used electricity to grow 6-foot plants, and she used nutrients to grow 6-foot plants.
Sure
I'm
did.
just as guilty of it, dude. I had a Northern Lights Big Bud that ended up being that way for me. I had 2 of them. One of them was female, and one of them was male, and I grew them both to be 6 feet tall, thinking, "Oh, they're absolutely female." So
How could I get unlucky?
Well, with the scrogging and the training and stuff like that, somebody told me once on one of these panels for this show, and I don't remember which one he was, but you said that the first time that you're popping new genetics, that you don't want to do anything to hinder it. You just want it to finish so you can make your selection at the end and be like, cool, it was the number 3. All the rest of them, they just didn't do it for me. It wasn't my personal medicine. Like Mr. Grow It, he's like me. We just grow our own medicine. So we're not worried about what the patient thinks. But every time that I snap it, every time I bend it, every time I do it, I'm slowing that down. And I'm not really getting a true representation of what the genetics wanted to be in the first place. And so I'm making a decision based upon how the plant took my abuse rather than what the plant had to produce itself.
It's an interesting thing, right? Because if you're pheno hunting, you should probably pheno hunt by training it the way you train your plants and find the ones that work in that system. But I know a lot of people that do agree with that theory that like you should pop seeds, not train them, and see how they do, and choose that way. So there's 2 kind of lines of thought there.
that's actually what I'm doing right now. I planted 12 seeds. Some of them are smaller than others, late bloomers, but I have 12 going right now, and I'm It's actually my own cultivar that I created. I created a cross. It's Brisker OG male crossed with Pakistan Valley, and it's named Chill Out OG. And they're actually F2s. So I had the F1s, put them down F2s. And so now I'm going from F2, and that opens up the gene pool quite a bit. So I'm going to see a whole bunch of variation amongst them. And then I'm going to be picking a keeper male out of the bunch, killing off the other ones, and then using that male to pollinate the females, and then growing those out, see how they grow, consuming them, and then keeping the offspring from there on the keeper female. So I'm kind of going through the process. I'm definitely by no means an expert when it comes to breeding. I feel like I'm a beginner breeder, but I have talked with quite a few people on my Garden Talk podcast, and they've been giving me feedback on what I should do next.
I definitely think you're doing it the right way. Like you don't want to train a bunch of plants if you're breeding seeds, right? You want to know what the plants are, and you're not phenotyping plants to grow in your space. You're growing plants for everyone, in theory.
Yeah, so I just have them in 2-gallon buckets right now, 2-gallon containers in soil, and I'm just letting them grow naturally. I want to see what the branching looks like. You know what I mean? If I see some side branching come out, that might be one that I might keep. I am also looking at, the vigor with the kind of backing up and looking at the parents. The Brisker OG is more of like a stretchier strain. It's your typical OG, stretchy, kind of can be finicky, but real dense bud structure. I'm looking for the dense bud structure on the Brisker side, but I want the short stoutness of the Pakistan Valley side. That is it's actually a landrace strain, indica, and it is more of on the squattier side of things. And so I'm looking for this to be kind of a smaller one, with the dense bud structure and with the trichome development of the Brisker. So,
what are you trying to create the perfect plan or something over here?
It would be nice, wouldn't it? But I'm just having fun with it as well,
Well, first of all, congrats. Is this your first time doing an F2? Because that's amazing. It's a really cool project. It's something I definitely look forward to doing myself one day. But I know you said, obviously there's going to be a lot of variation, but any idea what kind of terpene profiles you're expecting or looking for? Yeah, man.
Probably more like
I couldn't even make it an hour.
Lemony smell is what I kind of got off the first one. Doing the old stem rub technique. I know a lot of people use that, and it was definitely real heaven on the limonene, and that's what I'm thinking is going to come out of this one.
And is that how you're picking your males, is stem rub and stuff like that? I mean, it's really hard to choose a male. You don't get to smoke it. So what are you using for your
structure, man?
Structure, yeah, not too stretchy because of, like I mentioned, I want this to kind of be a smaller. So I'll probably take one of the smaller males, look for flower stacking, the pollen sacs, see how those stack up. I know on the F1s I grew, some of the pollen sacs actually transition to like a purpley color. So maybe I can bring that out. I don't know. I heard that's hard to bring out the purple, but that'd be cool if that came out. And then, there is some trichomes on the males, so I can kind of look at that as well. But yeah, there's, I think it's always subjective, on what you're looking for in regards to when you pheno hunting males or females, right?
Do you mess around with the silver thiosulfate?
No.
Okay.
No, haven't messed with that yet.
Yeah, that stuff is like, Rasa Jeff from Ira Genetics is always talking about selfing and all back crossing and all that stuff. And I get it when he talks about it, and then I can't repeat it afterwards.
I've got a bottle of that stuff. When you're ready to try it, Painted Lady, we'll do it.
Okay. Hey, man, bring it on over, because those male plants that I have that I pulled out of there are beautiful.
Yeah, man.
I hate to let them starve to death.
For males, there's actually a different product they use to flip males to female. You can't smoke them. It makes it toxic, but you can see what the female flowers look like. I can't remember what it's called. It's something they spray on ornamental trees to make them grow slower in the summertime. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I can't remember the product name, but the female to male to like self a female plant, silver thiosulfate, that's the one. That's a lot of science for breeding though. That's not very relevant for most of the chat, I'm sure.
I'd love to hit Granddaddy with that. Get some seed off that with itself.
2020 Mendocino, former sponsor of the show, sells STS It's not pre-mixed because it's not a shelf-stable product. You have to mix it to use it as like a shelf life. So what I have is basically 2 different bottles, and then you mix them together, and then it's good for like a month or something like that. And you can use it for your reversing process.
So what would I do? Would I have to put that plant and park it into like its own tent, or can I do it where it lays? What's the scoop?
That would be, yeah, you would want to do it all by itself because you're going to make your female into a male. It's going to act like a male. It'll pollinate everything that's everywhere the pollen can go.
Merrily, merrily, merrily.
So
Or not.
will it still have a female cola that will
Yes.
have seed? Will it seed itself,
Mhm.
or would you have
Mhm.
to have 2 plants seed itself?
Typically, if you're doing like an S1, you want to pollinate one plant onto another plant instead of like selfing it onto itself, but you can do it that way. I think you get a little bit different results one way or the other, stability wise. It'd be kind of creepy to breed with yourself, and I don't know what the results of that are versus.
I mean, you've been
versus
doing it
the
for
other way.
years.
You guys do it all the time.
Been
Right
trying
before the
anyway.
show, actually, they get the nerves out.
So what's next on the horizon for you, Mr. Grow It? What's going on? Anything new and exciting happening that's coming up?
Let's see. Well, I'm doing a lot of traveling this year. I'm going to be going to, let's see, I'm going to LA next month. We're going to the Green Street Festival.
Cool.
Not sure if you guys heard about Green Street in LA. It's kind of like this whole bunch of cannabis brands are kind of in this one building. And so they're doing some sort of a festival. So I'll be there for that. I will be in Detroit for CannaCon. That's coming up. When is that? That is July, I think, right?
Cool. We'll have to come out and meet you in person then.
Yeah, because
Hell
y'all are in that
yeah.
area. So maybe if you guys are in CannaCon, we can definitely link up there. I'll be in Vegas for
Maybe we can
MDK's
get
Con.
you a grab bag.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
Oh
go.
yeah, bring it. Well, no, don't bring it, Dabberg. We'll
We're like
Hook
Well,
you
a
up.
half hour outside of Detroit.
Sweet. I'll be in Denver as well for CannaCon in September, so that's exciting. Just as far as projects, individual projects, just continue on this breeding project, trying to get an F3 out of this. So we'll see how that. Hopefully, I can find what I'm looking for. If not, then I'll start over. You know what I mean? I'm not going to rush this, and then I'll have F3 on that, and then continue to stabilize that. And then let's see what else.
You'll have a bunch of F2 seeds, right? You can just keep popping those until you
True.
find what you're looking for, and then
Exactly.
and then you can get your F3.
Yep, exactly. Also working on my next book. So my next book,
Cool.
writing, should be out by January 1st, 2023. And that one is going to be focusing on organics. So,
Congrats.
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, congrats on the books, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks. Yeah, the beginner grow book I have, I'll shout it out real quick. A little shameless plug here.
Absolutely.
7 Steps to Grow Cannabis. So this is
Yeah.
written for beginners. It's the basics. It's bare bone basics. How can somebody who is fresh off the street, just starting to grow, they can pick up this book and they can get through their grow. That's really the goal of it. So it's not going to have any advanced knowledge. It's using bottled nutrients, growing in soil or cocoa, growing with either LED or HPS. So it focuses on the basics and just an overwhelming amount of people who are thankful that I wrote that book and put it out there, because there are a lot of good books on the market. You guys have probably read a lot of them, right? But a lot of them for beginners in particular kind of goes over your head. Like I have the Jorge
Yes.
Cervantes book, Ed Rosenthal. I started
Yeah.
reading those when I was a beginner, and I'm like, do I need to
Me
know this?
too.
Like everything's just going all over my head. So they
Yeah.
were actually inspirations for me to write something more simplified for beginners. So, and I like writing. I love writing anyways. So
I think that's a
wrote that
great
book.
idea.
yeah, and now I'm working on the organic side of things. So I've been doing organics for like 4+ years now. So still relatively new, I'd say, but got a decent grip on the beginner side of things for organics. And I'll definitely have experts, people who I deem as experts and know stuff more than me. Read the book before, make sure that I'm not putting out garbage. You know what I mean? A bunch of
Oh,
bro
yeah.
science, but yeah.
Are you writing the whole thing yourself, or do you have like
Oh, yeah.
like articles in there, contributors and stuff?
No, writing the whole thing myself.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the way I do it. Just stay up all night, drink Bang Energies, and hammer away on the writing. It's a long process, that's
I
for
bet.
sure. And writing's one thing, right? But then all the other stuff after that,
Sure.
there's a lot to it. It's a major process. So January 1st, 2023 is when that book should be dropping.
Awesome. Well,
Hashtag.
congrats.
But yeah,
And there we
maybe
go.
we can have you back to promote your next book when you're ready.
That'd be cool. Yeah. This is awesome. This is really
Yep.
cool. I don't know if
Yep.
Painted Lady let you guys know, but I only do have 1 hour here with you guys.
Yep.
She did actually, so we
Okay.
appreciate you stopping by. This is normally the time where we smoke some hash, do some dabs in the middle of the show.
Nice.
My
Hit that
production
vape
hat
pen,
was
brother.
broken, and I couldn't get the song to work. But
Cheers.
we appreciate you joining us for the show, and we'll talk about your presence here on the show after you're gone, I'm sure, and then we'll let our hair down and talk about some other stuff, of course.
Awesome. Well,
You
once
answered all
again,
my questions that I wrote down. I got everything crossed off, so I appreciate you very much.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. I know today's your
Cheers.
family day, so thanks so
family
much
day. Yep.
for time out of your day and joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun. I'm thankful that you came on, Painted Lady, and maybe I can have some of you other folks come on one of my podcasts in the future. I'm definitely open for any of you to come on as a guest. I think that'd be really
Sure,
fun.
you can. We've got a couple superstars here on the show that would love to be on your show, I'm sure. Do you have anything you want to shout out? I know you talked about the book. Do you want to say all your shows and all that stuff real quick?
Sure. Yeah. If you just search on YouTube, Mr. Grow It, you'll find my main channel should be the first one that pops up. If you scroll down a little bit more, well, my main channel has like the garden updates on it, all the gardening, mostly cannabis. I did do some vegetables in there. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see my talk channel. It's called Garden Talk with Mr. Grow It. That's what my main podcast is on. That, and then I also have like Q&A videos on there and just random topic videos on there, but it's more of a talk format. That's my clean channel that I spoke about earlier. You could scroll down a little bit more. You should come across Unfiltered with Mr. Grow It. That's my podcast where I just talk about all things cannabis related. You know, it's not just a plant, but just anything that revolves around cannabis. Like my recent show, I had somebody from Australia talking about legalization in Australia, which is a pretty cool topic. Next week, I'm going to have NV Closet Med Grower on. We're talking about how we met and going to Hemp Fest, and he's, Colorado scene versus the Nevada scene of cannabis. So it's like really fun conversation there.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to NV Closet Med Grower, longtime viewer of his shit. He is a Michigan guy too, so he gets love from that.
Yeah, he was one of the old school growers I didn't remember earlier. He was one of the ones I started to begin watching. But a couple other things would be, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Grow It, Instagram at Mr.Growit. I'm on there pretty frequently. And then From the Stash podcast with me, Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV, and Pigeons 420. Every single week we're doing a new podcast episode. It's on YouTube, and then it's on all podcast platforms as well. So lots of shows, lots of.
Nice.
It's hard to remember all that stuff.
Busy.
So good job. Yeah,
Right.
good job. I appreciate that. Pigeons is the only guy from your guys' show that we haven't gotten on yet. So give him a good word for us, and we'll have to get him on here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully your viewers stick around a little bit, and we'll shoot the shit while you're gone.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
hope to
cheers
see you
very
in
much.
July.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks to everyone in the
Thanks so
chat, and thank you all for having me on. Take care, everyone.
Have a great night.
All
Good
right.
night.
That was pretty good. Easy peasy.
You know what? I'm really
Yeah.
glad that you got to mark off your entire bingo card for the interview. Yeah, I knew you'd hold that
Look,
fucking
dude.
thing up.
Look, I got a
Yeah,
whole
man.
list.
Man,
Taking
when I
notes.
A lot of
learning-
info.
I was learning to grow on his videos were my go-to. Like it was Rasa Jeff, Grow From Your Heart, Mr. Grow It, Grateful Grower, Mr. Canucks Grow, like he was mentioning earlier. And I learned a lot from Mr. Grow It too. So
So you know what? I want to try to say something about this. Is everybody says the same shit. We all can grow plants. We all can finish a plant. You know what I mean? And it really comes down to who do you want to hear this from? Because none of us have like a corner on the market for information or technology or anything else. You know what I mean? Some people have different practices and different belief systems on how they approach it. But it's really about you. You know, you
Making
are.
it digestible for your audience, right?
That's
And
exactly it. man.
exactly.
How do you want to learn?
Yeah. His videos are just really, I don't know how to explain it other than I learned a lot, and they're
He's easy to listen to.
understand. Yeah.
hmm I was
He has his
listening to him
data
today
point.
driving, and he's super easy to listen to.
hmm
Yeah, like
Yep.
listen to him talk about that light. He has his information well established, well versed on what he's going to talk about, and it's good. It's good content that way.
Definitely.
Very good radio
Well, guys,
voice.
what's the rest of you guys up to? What have you been doing this week? We got another 55 minutes here.
I've been pulling males out of my garden. I don't know about y'all.
Not great.
I've been driving all weekend.
Yeah, you have been.
Playing with the dogs.
Someone in chat is searching for males in Lansing. I don't know.
I know Eddie keeps repeating that, but Eddie, we see it, brother. We see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, it got away from me. I just didn't take clones ahead of time because I just was so freaking busy, and I should have. But they were such beautiful plants. I didn't see and I mean the pre-flowers to me looked female. I mean, I looked over all those plants before I threw them in there, and I swore I saw a little.
They look like that. They look like those like a little. It's like a little thing, but
They kind of hang a little bit
Yeah,
more, you know.
well, it's usually more green than it is like clear and white. You know those.
Well, I don't know. Sequence was in my garden, and he didn't notice them either. So
It's definitely his fault.
Sneakers.
They don't all show in pre-flower, and
Yeah.
even when they get big enough, really big, they don't all show flowers. So it can be tricky.
Ethos was the only one that didn't have any males. None. So shout out to Colin again.
I hate that, man. It looks like it's about to crown. It's like, is that a crown? Is that
Does that have a hair or two hairs?
hair? Or is that what is that? And then all of a sudden it's like like 30 minutes
Oh,
later.
man.
Like, oh, that's what that was. Okay. Yep. All right.
It's okay. I mean, I'm really bummed over the Romulan and Roadkill skunk because it was beautiful. The structure on it was gorgeous, and I was really stoked for that to finish up. And it's going to finish up in the corner, dying of starvation.
Yes, it will.
Oh, well.
I've been scouring the internet all week. Well, really ever since the Hash Bash Cup. I enjoyed that so much. I've been trying to create a tour of Michigan for events this year because, darn it, the events are back. I feel like they're coming back. 2019 was a lot different from 2020 and 2021, obviously, but I think the events are going to start coming back pretty strong this year. You know, we might not have the High Times Cannabis Cup or an equivalent event, ever again.
Oh, they're doing it.
We don't want that anyway.
They're
Coming
doing
back
it
with
the cup again.
inventions.
You have to
There
pay
you
for
go.
your judging
you.
kits and all sorts of stuff, but High Times is doing a cup again.
And
I
they're
wanted
bringing
to
their own
mention, though,
weed.
for Growly.
Bringing their own weed too.
Yeah, I wanted to mention for Growly that Astro Charlie, noted Growski, member of our show Ecosystem, has a spreadsheet of the Michigan events, like a Google spreadsheet or whatever. So ask him and he'll hook you up. Maybe you guys together will have some events that each of you didn't have previously.
Yeah, we are both going to one. It's the Michigan Gems and Genetics, I think, like May 17th. I don't know what the date is, 21st, something like that. No, I think it's like the 14th. That sounds right. But yeah, I've got 3
I wanna
so
go to
far.
that one.
Yeah,
I saw that you're sponsoring an event, right, for 420. You want to talk about that one? Aren't you a guy on the 420 thing? I swear I saw it on your Instagram today.
the
Summer
June-
Bash. Oh,
yeah,
June
June
4th.
4th.
June 4th.
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, okay, so reason being is it's the 420 sesh. It's like a big golf tournament. That's another event we're doing. But it's a cannabis, involved tournament. And
This is the one I saw.
yeah. So they have, I think what it is, I didn't do it. I think they might have had it twice already, either 1 or 2 times. But I think most of the vendors are like under a giant tent, kind of like Clio Cultivation does, and then they had options to basically set your own tents up too. And so I opted for that because I finally, after I don't know how many years of doing this, like 6-7 years of doing events, I finally ordered a Fergurli branded tent.
Nice.
So I'm very excited
Hell
to
yeah, man.
pop one
Nice.
of those up. Yeah, I got some nice cool little counters and stuff, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun this year.
No wonder I was confused. It's at the 420 Golf Club. June 4th. So
Yeah, no, I don't have any 420 plans. Sorry, guys. Maybe we should do a
check
live
out for
stream or something.
Growly on the June 4th for sure.
But yeah, if I'm all ears, if you guys got certain events, especially around Michigan that maybe upcoming or that you think I should be in attendance or whatever, just DM me. I don't know, tag me somewhere. Appreciate it.
I'm trying to do as many as we can as well. Try to commute though. It's gonna be tough doing multi-day events. The dog's not too mobile with us, but otherwise,
Dog life, man.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
try to get as many
Like,
day
my
events.
dog keep me from doing any like a lot of overnights and stuff.
Thank
What's up,
goodness
Gordon?
I have a wonderful dog that'll everyone will take care of her for me, so I don't have to worry about that problem.
I'm pretty sure my neighbor my friend next door that watches Diamond when we're away will one day try to kidnap her.
I think she likes her more than we do.
She won't give her back at
Who
one.
wouldn't try to kidnap her? She's a great doggy.
She is.
Tara saw Diamond today, and you would swear that Tara used to own Diamond the way that she reacted.
Right, the reaction.
Yeah.
Well, everybody
Just all
gets
the way
like
up
that
her
with
ass.
everybody.
Tara.
Well,
We all
that's
jump
just
on her
because
leg
they
and
know
try
I
to
love
move
them.
Bam. Astro's in the
Thank
chat,
you.
and he hooked for Growly up. Astro, thank you for watching, brother. Always.
Real time
That's awesome.
solutions. It's a real time
That is such a nice spreadsheet. Yeah. I love
As
It
it.
really is.
We're looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday. We see Tommy Buns and Kazoo.
Hell yeah. That'll be a good mood uplifter to watch Tom Segura insult everyone, including us. It will be a very good time. I'm excited for the show.
Where's that at?
That sounds like a blast.
We're going to be in Kalamazoo to see him. Is that State Theater?
I
I
think
can't
so.
remember. I think it's the State Theater.
Yeah, super excited. So we'll have like a little Groski dinner, but ahead of time, ahead of the show. So that'll be fun.
We're meeting up with some other Groskies that are going to the same show. Yeti and Amanda are going. Dro and his wife are going, so we're meeting up with them.
No,
We're gonna
actually,
meet up
people that
with,
you want to hang out with and that are cool.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just people
We're
we
all
know.
sitting
Okay.
in different
Yeah.
places, but we're going to go to dinner before the show. So I think that's pretty cool. And since we're going to be in Kalamazoo, we hit up Kazoo. I'm not calling you Kazoo because that's silly. We're going to hit up Kazoo. He's going to eat with us and
Thank you,
ask for
Steve
Charlie
West.
as well.
Thank you. I'm on the
That's
same
silly.
page. I'm on the.
He's
I'm on the-
ignoring his geography because somebody said his name wrong, and that's
No.
crazy.
I'm on the same. I'm on the same Kazoo bandwagon here, buddy.
Me too, man.
Same.
I've
I'm
said
still calling
Kazoo for
Kazoo.
It's
forever.
location based, man.
Location.
Location.
I know what he was
location.
typing. I know what he was typing when he typed his name. So that's what I'm saying. But we're really excited to see Kazoo. We're really excited to see Charlie and Dro and Yeti and Amanda. We're going to eat. We're going to get some. I actually have to call and reserve our restaurant, but that'll be really, really fun.
Well, shit. What's the date of that one? I had no idea that was going down.
That's
Or
Wednesday.
That
The
show.
one I was trying to get you tickets for is on Saturday.
I can't go to Chicago. That's just too far
Yeah.
for.
It's
I-
farther. Yeah.
That's
I
too much.
think Wednesday will have single seats.
Yeah, the Wednesday show I believe is sold out. You can only get single seats. So you guys could go, but you'd have to sit separate.
Nah.
Or StubHub it.
That might be great, you know. if you
Could she
wanna
sit
get
on my
away.
shoulder?
That might be crazy.
I'm really short. I'm
She's
short
not a
enough.
parrot,
Come on, man,
Red.
your
I'm super
shoulders
short, dude.
hurt, remember?
Could I sit on her shoulders?
Yes.
She's short.
Just
She'd
get a
probably
big.
let you.
You gotta
I
do
bet-
just like the cartoons, right? Get that big long trench coat, put her in the trench coat, and have her sit
There you
There
go.
you
There
go.
you go.
right in front of you.
Tall.
Or we could go in like a horse.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
think they're
Person
gonna let
in
a
front,
horse
one in the
in?
back.
I know
mean,
that
if we
Becca
have a
tolerates
ticket,
a
why
lot,
not?
I'm sure. So she could tolerate you
cow.
sitting on her shoulders.
It's my support animal. What they
Yeah,
call
there we go.
The support cow.
it.
My support cow. Wow.
She
Yeah.
can get a ticket. I can get a collar.
Hey, and if you're on the east side,
Red, you do
Late
realize
such.
you would have to be the back of the animal because Becca would have to do the or the top of the coat. You'd have to be the bottom of the coat or the
No,
back
no.
of the horse, man.
I'm wearing a
no.
a
Becca's
little
hair is the
vest.
tail. Come on.
It says, no,
She's a
Sorry,
better
you
smooth talker than
backwards,
he is.
too?
Yeah. He'll
Can't
hold
be
on to your
mean.
legs, you know.
mean.
I have a big red dog costume I could wear.
The Clifford, the big red dog, the real red setter.
I really need to break this thing out. I need an eye patch. I need a giant eye patch.
No, you need to
Everybody.
rock it like the Borg, dude. Just rock it raw with the big hole in
Like
it.
the
Just show
Borg.
up for the late sesh with it.
It needs some serious like Lysoling on the inside of that thing. It's been in a garage.
Did you
full-
piss in it or something?
No, but mice
Have
have.
you seen Red's feet?
The-
Oh, it
the
has
mi-
mouse urine in it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what kind of urine it probably.
that's how you get
has in
pink
it,
eye
but
red.
There's probably squirrels
know.
that have been living in
I'm
it.
sure.
You can
all
identify that
kinds of
urine. yeah.
animals that have been living in this bag. I don't know. I mean, the costume's red still. I mean, it's still in good shape. I don't think that it is. It's just been
Just because the UV hasn't been hitting it doesn't mean other things have.
Yeah, it needs to be
Good
sprayed out.
point.
Hang
Yeah,
that shit up outside for a week and come back and see what it's like.
Mice are having
good
an
old-
orgy in it
good old
right
microbes.
Ah,
Microbes.
Just in
That
the
costume
ceiling.
needs some lactobacillus.
At least wear the head around. It's only got one eye though, so it's a bummer, man. It needs an eye patch.
What's the story on the eye? How'd you lose it?
It just fell off.
Was it Nam? You can tell if it's.
The story on the dog's eye.
Yeah.
It was a hash hash pop. Hash pop.
It was a hash explosion.
Hash explosion, dude.
Damn, dude.
Got a hash char in the
Too
eye.
many solvents in your hash.
It's just
He wiped his
Fucking
eye
up,
one
man.
too many times with the trichomes, and that shit
Yeah.
just poof. Pulled a Spartan
seed
ground
pop,
with the hemp
seed pop
fucking-
from the 90s.
Battle Scar.
Seed popped out.
I mean, I think you should be wearing that every like show and event.
He
like
should be our girl
Mouse
mouse,
used to.
right?
Yeah.
That's the girl mouse that for him.
I just need a eye patch, man. I need a big eye
Put
patch.
an
Make
LED
one.
patch.
The patch needs the eye's about that big, right? Figure the
Because
eye.
he will make you one.
Figure eye patch
What?
about
It's that big?
eye patch, but yeah, it's about a 3-inch tall
Yeah,
eye.
'cause
Maybe
it's a
4-inch tall
mascot,
eye. Yeah, it's big head.
Red,
That's
is
the
it
Lex
within,
right here.
Please
I'm
don't
wearing
wear
his shirt.
that.
in the
Select
property?
wears the
Can you
panda
go
head
within
when he
it?
does social media.
Is this a
Remember
fetchable item right now?
No, I want to say it's in my
Amazon?
shop. So
I feel like we
I want
could-
to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the shop.
I feel like you could.
What would you do if you woke up at 3 a.m. and he was just standing above you wearing that hat?
He
Wearing it
would
over his
not be
head.
surprised in the least.
I'm sure that
Sounds
Red put on
weird.
some sort of
You're
costume
free.
before.
No.
So you just go.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Dog
you
eye
should.
for
I'm
now.
gonna order you one of those oversized googly eyes. We're just gonna super glue that thing on there. That's just
not a
always
bad
just one eye.
One
Just do
good
it.
eye.
That's a great idea.
It'd be just be a lazy eye. Lazy eye.
Stop
Lazy
looking
eye.
at me.
That
For
fits
Halloween,
perfect.
I've always
I actually
wanted to-
have a lazy eye. It's just controlled all the time. I
Yeah.
control it most of the time.
That was my Halloween. I had a Halloween idea that I wanted to put googly eyes of all different sizes all over my face. So my whole face was googly eyes
Oh,
and do a
man.
Halloween party and just freak people out.
Oh man.
You
I haven't
still
done it yet.
can.
That's
You
still
still
on
can.
the list. Oh, I'm going to. Because I want to freak everyone out.
I think what you could do, Red, on the fly is you could take that, and then you could take that really cool fanny pack that Beckett just got. You know, the kind that it's
Oh.
like both
Oh.
reversed, and you could clip that around the eye, and then you could change. I'm not the dog you're looking for, and you could make it silver, and then you could make it black, and then completely confuse people. They'd say, "Did you see those two dogs that were running around? They both were missing the same eye, but like it was so weird, man. One had like a red patch. Man,
I'm glad you said
crazy
that
fucking dogs.
about the fanny pack, and you weren't
Thought
just
that
like
drew like far.
just run around in the head and the fanny pack.
His brain went a lot
Just
of
the fanny
places
pack.
to do that.
I was like, where are we going with this fanny pack? I'm digging around in the bag. It's like a bejeweled fanny pack. And I'm like,
Yeah, man.
I was like,
It's like Grand Theft Auto level paint job, except for your mask.
I had to highlight Aldrich's comment here.
Oh.
Pirate red is Becca's favorite
Yarr.
role-playing red.
They
How
call
did
me
you
Jack
know?
Sparrow.
What you guys don't know is that he really likes pretending to be a pirate, just like
I'm
in
sure.
life.
Now we do.
yeah.
Yeah, now we do. Does he
I
like
like
to
to
pretend
walk
anything else, Becca?
No, I don't want
I'm
to
actually
know.
looking
Does
for
he
the
have
booty.
Seafair Saturdays?
Find the booty.
That's a good line. Perfect.
The showstopper right there.
I already have way too many visions in my head now, knowing that. So gross.
Red, do you have the puffy shirt? The puffy pirate shirt?
No, whatever.
Rolls.
Yeah, the hook.
He's got a hook.
Do you have a peg
He's
leg?
got a hook, just like Clinton, man.
Do you have a peg
Man,
leg,
that's
Red?
funny. Army matey.
Nope.
Is that answer?
I like to walk myself down the plank.
So 420 is coming up.
Who's hosting the
man.
live stream?
Ooh,
Hey, oh, it's on one. I know Uncle Rick is hosting a live stream.
How
Is
many
he?
dabs can
Oh,
you do?
I just have to say, Astro Charlie's logo for Uncle Rick is phenomenal.
I like how he's holding up his hand.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
So cute.
so great. I love
It's
it.
very
pull it up.
fitting. It was perfect. He
Yeah.
did a super good job on it. He's really
Yeah.
good.
I said, what's your latitude?
And it looks like him.
It's even got
I
the
know.
crosshairs.
Awesome work,
Amazing.
Charlie.
Really
Yeah,
good.
on that.
Really talented dude.
Astro
And I don't know if
Charlie.
you guys heard him announce on his show, but I agreed to go on their show and help them. At
They
least
do?
once a month or so. Yeah, at least once a month or so. For they're gonna have a section for new growers. They come on and have questions and show their grows to ask questions,
nice.
or they're gonna have a website where they can submit questions.
Cool.
And they'll
Did
just
you
answer
notice
them.
in true Uncle Rick fashion that he's using the wrong Michigan hand?
I did. It's
Yeah.
funny.
I was going to mention that too. Yeah.
Poor Astro. He's gonna go back and do something with it now.
Well, it's gonna irritate Bluecast more than anybody because she corrects me every time.
Yeah, she's the only one that
Shit in the
cares
chat
that much.
every time.
Good work, Lucas. Drive me nuts too. I'm way too.
Astro says he asked. Astro knows he's got his attention to
Not a
detail.
mistake.
He asked about the hand.
It's great. It makes
That's
it
great.
look even better.
Oh,
Shout
that's
out
gonna
to
make Bluecast
Natalie,
even
too.
more pissed. That's intentional, Bluecast. He intentionally wanted to piss you off.
Shout out
Oh,
to
that's even
Natalie,
better.
Astro's girlfriend, for the beautiful card that Tara got me that she made of a kitten and some roses. I have it in the other room like a dummy, but so yeah, thank you, Natalie and Tara. It was beautiful.
I
love
really
it.
like Natalie's art style where she does like collage work. I think that's
Mhm.
what
I
you would
love
call it, but like she takes like magazines and merges them with other art forms and makes these really cool art. And I really like that. Really unique.
Yeah, it's really, really cute. I
And
love
they're
it.
older magazines too, so they're like vintage and old stuff that we, can't get nowadays. And she just puts it all together. Or she's got even little packs that you can put your own thing together, make your own little collage of sorts. Super cool. She's got stickers. She's
Here's
super
an
talented.
example of her stuff. So she took like a High Times magazine and merged it with Good Housekeeping or something and made this. She does all sorts of collage work and it's really, really cool stuff.
It makes you wonder
And it
what
is
she was
all, like-
holding up in the old one. It was probably like a corn dog or something.
Yeah, or an iron or some shit.
I feel good about it. I'm sorry. I think I had my foot on her headphones. And
She made
stood
some
up.
stuff for
Damn
us,
it.
too.
Sorry about that.
Here, I'll stop sharing so you can show it.
Yeah.
Custom.
The DOG.
Yep.
It's a
Yeah, it's
DOG.
all
DOG.
Actually sewn in there.
sewn.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Stitch. Isn't that sweet?
And he's got his little
Sunflower.
crinkly ear.
Got
Oh,
crinkly ear.
Sunflowers.
That's
Got some
attention to
cauliflower
detail
ear.
with the crinkly ear.
Heck yeah.
We got
She's awesome, dude.
a dancing bear too.
I donated some High Times magazines her way when they came out for Hash Bash. Gave her a
Yeah.
nice little stack. Some of them I'm not
I
using.
just give them both a shout out. They're always positive vibes in the community and just, happy-go-lucky people. So it's always nice to see you guys.
100%.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely love to spend time with them.
Yeah, we did some clone swaps. It's been fun. Cool. It's always good seeing them.
Talking about them damn clone swaps again, Sequence.
Oh, I can't hold it against.
No.
Red has been trying to get me this clone,
I
so I can no longer hold it against him. It's on me. And I will say that on the air. That's all I have to say about that. I'm really excited.
absolved.
He's
right.
putting it out there.
Citrique is an incredible plant. It's some of my favorite terps I've smoked in the last few years. So I would be honored to get it from you.
You'll get it. You're gonna get it.
New colors.
I feel
We
the
got new
same way with
colors.
the Rainbow
Dude,
Drive.
no, well, these
Ooh,
fuckers
nice.
were sold out like back when we got the white ones. I really wanted black ones, and we ended up getting black ones.
Man, the
So
black is
I
tough.
just need to
Yeah, I
get
like the
matte-
black.
I need to get like a matte.
I like that black.
sticker. And
I like all the ways you've been able to repurpose like your stickers and all of your different stuff
Oh,
to
yeah.
make all of your, really clever.
our pre-roll sticker seconds
Instead of
as-
ordering those like over and over again and having
Yeah,
different
exactly.
things for everything, you found a way to make it your stickers you use for your hash jars are on those tens, that
Yep.
sort of deal.
And those ones there specifically are singles. The hash jar stickers wouldn't be something that we would hand out. We'd have to cut them off of a page, but that's like, off of a page. I don't really like doing the roll and the wheel thing. I like doing a page just because it files easily. Yeah, that's off of like a page. But I also like vinyl, it holds up under like a lot of conditions. Yeah, our pre-roll sticker fits those bags nicely, so that's like kind of like a dual purpose thing. Yeah,
I thought about getting a cricket and die cutting out the dog and putting them on the tins, or even just like your text logo. Your text logo would be pretty hard to get it all out of
Yeah,
there
that
with
would
these
be.
stupid weeding tools and stuff. But
Oh,
the
that's a
dog would be
nightmare.
pretty easy.
the dog would be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a
it,
good
it
idea.
would definitely be a down the road purchase, and do
Trust
something.
me, I've tried. These letters are so thin. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would be a nightmare with actual letter with the text.
Well,
on. There's a
Lucas, the
credit.
camera doesn't do anything justice because nobody can get the shit in focus. But
right.
yeah,
They're fucking
for
webcams,
Growley, give it a
man.
shot.
Get it.
See, for Growley's is hard focused like on his face, so
Right. He has to
that's
break
tough.
it. There it goes.
There you
it
go.
is.
There you go. But those are all printed on super high quality equipment. He knows what he's doing for sure.
I really like the cork too. It's really nice.
Yes.
It's a
You're lucky
Uh,
Baked isn't here because he's got like 1 of 4 for Growley.
Natural
You've got
material.
3.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Makes you
really
like
proud
Power
of
Rangers.
He's got that, too.
I bought the Michigan hand that's filled with cannabis. That's Natalie's art that he put onto one.
I love that.
Can you-
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. It's,
Baked loves his. He really loves his.
He got it sticky already, I heard.
Yeah.
He did get it sticky already. He was trying to figure out how to clean it. And
He's just-
Astro said you can clean it how you clean
I like
everything
that.
else.
It looks cool.
Look at the number. One
1 of 1.
of one. Hey,
Woo!
Damn,
I
you
had
can't
to get
even
it.
use that
It was
sucker.
just so cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
they make really cool like coasters.
Wall art.
It's fucking sweet.
I believe Astro is the
Oh, that's
only
right.
designer or
It's
the exclusive
Saturday.
designer for the Hareem events. So you can
Where's
see
that?
him there, and he does all of the artwork for that. Astro, drop us a location if you can in the chat. You might not be able to.
Hey, I wanted to
Yeah, I
attend
don't think
that
we
event.
don't have a location yet for Saturday.
And for those
Hasn't
trying to
been
figure out
announced yet.
what Hareem hash rules everything around me. Hareem.
But only
Mhm.
solventless. They wouldn't let me come.
Correct. Yeah, that's all.
they do have
solvent
some
was.
rules. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
I mean, they're sticking to hash. I
That doesn't
understand.
sound like you think it's cool.
I mean, this is
I-
hash.
I
We're
love
going there
his,
with some dry sift.
Just because
cool.
you use
It's
water
fine.
as a solvent.
yeah, I think they define hash as solventless only. I don't know. I wouldn't say that solvent stuff is hash.
I actually
but
prefer
maybe I would.
I'd rather
I
fucking
prefer the BHO too.
Quality.
Cleaner on the nail. It's way cleaner on the nail.
Way cleaner.
And I have an expensive nail, so I prefer dabbing that stuff. But the flavor and rosin is good too. I respect it.
It was interesting getting perspective, talking about events again, but at the Hash Bash Cup and just, how many different hashes, whether it's solventless or not, are out there. And just the questions you get from people that, everyone has never taken a dab before, let alone like opened a concentrate jar, to people that have been doing this themselves for 10, 15 years, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just, I swear I'm not biased, but
Everyone has a
Get it.
preference, right? I think, and I like it all, but I would say that the BHO is much cleaner on whatever version of solvent-based stuff is way cleaner on the nail.
quality based BHO. I think here's the thing with BHO is it's been around, longer or whatever, put it this way. There's so much bad BHO out there that I think it gets a bad rap that way. Whereas like, when you get this event, this or the Hareem or whatever, you get this event of all these high level guys that are coming together and putting a tons of quality hash on a table. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome to see. But like, I don't know if you ever really saw that with solventless, like you did with BHO, where it's just, poop soup for years.
Well, because it was the original remediation way. It was the original, I can't sell this fucking bud, so I'm going to blast it. It's just like we were talking about the carts, you know what I mean? So sadly, there was a lot of things that, a lot of people tried in the very beginning that, was
Dude, there's
not-
people blasting butane through PVC tubes onto something in their
Dude,
back
yeah,
shed.
I remember
and,
the old
like,
ones where they used to have the fucking.
It was not always good.
Yeah, I know, but it's still, it's still not. There's still a lot of not quality stuff out there. You know what I mean? Just look on the shelves or on Weed Maps or Leafly or whatever today. There's still a lot of trash out there, but yeah, I don't know. There you
See,
go.
Astro's ready for your solvent cup, and he
Dude,
wants
you know
to
how
be your
long I've been
exclusive
thinking about
designer,
that?
dude.
I've thought about basically restarting the secret sesh, up at like Vegan City Social, but doing like a Fragoli sesh or something. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I don't think you could do for Growly sesh. That's
Right,
what
I
a lot of
know.
people, but
I
you could
know.
do something. You could definitely do something.
Or we could.
Right. Oh yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Just saying. There's a lot of different events out there now, dude.
Yeah, there are.
Real
We've
time.
wanted to do another thing since we did our grow off, but putting together an event is a lot of pressure, right? As a show, if we put our name on something, we want it to go right, and it's a lot of work to do that, and that's been a source of a lot of stress. We've definitely thought about it a lot of times. We're like doing our own cup, right, or we judge flour or something like that because we have a lot of viewers. But yeah, you got to pull it off correctly, or you get a lot of people that go, "Those guys suck," and they did that bad, and
yeah, now we think it was a cash grab or some bullshit.
Yeah, and we didn't want to do do any of that stuff. Hold on, I gotta pay for
Yeah, I
this
feel
guy.
you on that. I put a lot of thought into it. There's a lot
Painted
of
lady.
See that, Skilbo?
Nice.
It was fast, man.
Nailed
I always try to do it on our Streamlabs.
I
chat.
did too, Red. I was reaching with
fuck,
my
I can't
mouse. I
do
was
it.
like, "You
I gotta
stupid
run to my
motherfucker." I'm just high enough to have tried it.
Dude, you know, I don't know if the sale's still going. I haven't checked the website in a little while, but I want to make sure I shout these guys out and I get all of our viewers a chance to get some fucking cheap seeds, man, while they got them. 20-pack seeds,
Where at, Red?
50% off. My buddy Greenfish Seeds. Greenfishseeds.com, I believe. They're $80 packs. They're 20 packs.
What's he working with?
That's good value.
This is Midwest Sweet and Sour, but they're 50% off, so they're $40 seed packs.
Oh shit! 20 seeds for $40.
Yeah,
That's a good deal. Yeah.
That's you can't do much
This
better
is
now.
East
Do the
Coast
math,
Sour
do
Diesel
the math.
kit. Looks like a little cassette tape.
That's pretty cool packaging. I like that.
Packaging.
I
Is
remember
that Kip
cassettes.
and something
It's a
else?
fucking Def Leppard cassette, man.
Hell
East
yeah,
Coast
man. Pyro
Sour
Mania.
Diesel. So I ordered East Coast Sour Diesel because I'm really searching out the
Is that
East
the
Coast
guys
Sour
that did the
Diesel.
gang, right?
They did do Gang. This is
So we got
I
to see that at Freedom Green. That was a big plant. Really
He's a
good-looking
good friend of
plant.
mine.
Did
and
you
I
like that
ordered-
one, Tara?
Ordered a couple seeds.
Yeah, it was a
and
big one and it was very tasty.
I'm gonna show
Really
the
liked
flag.
Gang Gang.
He sent me a whole bunch
Could be
of
unruly.
Awesome.
testers, Bobo, Kip. There's a bunch of guys back there. Some more East Coast Sour Diesel.
Red's never growing all those seeds. Never.
Fuck
No,
no, Red's got a
going
bounty already.
to.
We only
Or it's
ordered
the
two.
pirate's booty.
We
It's
only
the
ordered
stash.
2 packs of seeds. My homie hooked it up, so I'm going to probably
I want to do the
give
burnt
one of these
garlic.
away. There'll probably be a Polarity Science giveaway. There'll probably be
Oh,
a
shit.
giveaway
Thursday
here
nights,
this
9 p.m.
summer. Maybe we'll see something going on. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see which ones I'll probably end up breaking a couple of these into like, I don't know, 10 packs and splitting them up amongst the group or giving them away that way. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I could easily get 2 10 packs out of these and give those away. So
Definitely.
so it goes. But this is kind of big news also. This is aside from like the $80 that I spent and got fucking 200, 300 fucking seeds, 400 seeds, which is a pretty good score. This is the Mean Gene recent
Ooh.
drop.
Right on, yeah, man.
Ooh, I like
The
the color.
not
Big
Death
name breeder.
Star.
What's the story on that, Red?
Story is he smokes some Death Star and he goes, shit, that's not the Death Star I have. And basically he was running with this Death Star that he was told was Death Star. Well, if you talk to Captain 420, there's like 4 Death Stars, I think. There's like Sequence and I both like know that we each probably had 2 different Death Star cuts.
I still haven't had the same one.
I smoked some Death Star that Captain shared with me that was incredibly similar to the Death Star I have. But anyway, this one here is Mean Gene's not Death Star because he smokes some Death Star and
Yeah.
he says, "Oh shit, the Death Star I have, I don't think is Death Star anymore." But
Like most strains, I think there's supposed to be 1 Death Star, and now there's a lot of people that think they have Death Star and they probably
Yeah.
don't have Death
yeah,
Star.
something like that ended up happening. According to Captain, there's 4 Death Star that came out of Ohio. 2 Sensi leaners, 2 diesel
Right.
leaners.
Which is Sensi Star.
Yeah,
With one
Sensi
hand.
Star. Sour
Yeah,
diesel.
that's how I've always heard it was Ohio Death Star.
And so one's a little heavier on the body, one's a little heavier on the head. I've always had that nice heady, almost diesel
Mhm,
leaner,
mhm.
you know, super piney. But yeah, man. So I was almost thinking in my mind, well, if I want to keep that around. I want to keep that Death Star around. It's old, dude. It's old as shit. It's one of my first cultivars I started fucking with back in like 2014, 2013, 2014. It's really old, dude. It's almost 10 years old. It's just starting to, lose its vigor. I want to pull some seeds out of it, and not just some random male stuff that I end up finding seed and stocking them outside. I want to like maybe find a male out of this, not Death Star. What I'm thinking might actually be another, because I'm thinking it's still a Death Star. I'm thinking it's one of the other 4 Death Star. So I might be able to find a male and Death Star heavy male out of this and pop it on that.
Whatever it is, it makes nice festival hash.
Yeah, either way, working with the Mean Gene work here is going to be phenomenal, and I'm hoping they can find a good female out of this. I'm curious what that line, but anyway, it also came with this. Oh, here after Figueroa does his.
Shout out to Dank Man Dan.
I was just showing it. You can talk. He had it focused, so I was like, I gotta show it. It's focused for
Came with
once.
this. It's called Outdoor Freebie. Of course, it's
See what
not
I mean?
focus. Runts times
Cherry limeade, is that what it says?
it's G33 times cherry limeade in parentheses on the male. So runts female, G33 cherry limeade on the.
I would love to smoke a strain called cherry limeade. That's one of my favorite
Dude.
drinks.
Yeah, I'm
Sonic,
super
baby.
geeked. Super geeked. So,
Sonic is the shit, dude. With the
Did
little
you ever-
cubed ice.
Only their drinks. Their food sucks ass.
Did you ever get to try the cherry lime haze I grew up until 2019?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Negative, sir.
I'm gonna have to get the Mr. Clean into your hands. Then I think I harvest it in the next 2 weeks, and it's a lime skunk crossed with I think the cube.
Go
but
on.
It's like a cherry lime root beer. So there's still something
Yeah.
else on the end, but it's very much cherry lime.
I love that. Lime is one of my favorite cannabis
Sounds
terps.
awesome.
It's like so strong, refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the like
great
the
mood
streak,
shit,
in my
man.
opinion, is very like limey.
Try to get
And,
this focused again.
I love that.
I have some Lime River Rose from Painted Lady.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was telling them, Tara, I was telling Sequence before the show started that you got turmeric out of it. And I was like, Lord, I don't.
Okay, so I didn't say a
New
word. I
labeling, I
didn't
see
say a
it.
word to him, and I let him smell it. And I was like, "What do you think?" And he didn't say anything at first, and then I did finally say, and he was like, "Oh my god, I totally get it." So
He smelled turmeric too.
Smell.
What do you guys like?
It
Chefs or
smells,
some
sorry.
shit?
Hold on, you're smoking
smell,
turmeric?
sorry,
It's
I'm high as
basically
fuck.
mustard.
Indian, like
high
this
as
like
fuck.
Indian food or something.
It smells like Indian
Curry
food.
or
You
something.
know, like
Curry.
curry,
Curry.
I always
lime and
call,
curry is what I
Yeah.
smell.
I call it turmeric is how I say it, but yeah, it's like it's mustard.
And I don't think she'd eaten curry, so
Of course
You do say every word wrong, Spartan. So yeah.
I do too.
It's turmeric. She's right.
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
I'm
Man,
from
turmeric.
Ohio. We say a lot of things wrong.
It's definitely
No,
turmeric.
it was right. That's right.
All Painted Lady and I do is watch cooking shows, so we know how those words are said.
That's not all we do. We play VR too.
Is that how you do Good Housekeeping magazine, dude? I was gonna call you out on that.
Those
Dude,
people are
I think Good
actors.
Housekeeping.
They're wrong.
I'm more Metro than I look.
Sorry, I'm just joking. Actors aren't wrong. There's probably actors listening. You're not wrong if you're an actor.
We're all
Well, I
actors,
wanted to
man.
mention
We're
some.
influencers.
I wanted to mention one thing real quick. Tuesday, so this coming up Tuesday, if you're anywhere near Birch Run Township, you're going to want to show up for the meeting. I believe it starts at 7:00. It's probably going to be a big to do. There's probably going to be a lot of cameras and stuff around because the picture of, or I'm not going to mention the fuck's name, sitting there flicking off the camera went and it got into newspapers and even made some newscasts. So I'm sure there's going to be cameras there. There's different organizations, caregiver groups that are organizing rides there. I know the caregiver associations. I think they're meeting at Clio. They might be meeting at Clio Cultivation. One group with a bus to get people up there, and I've heard of a couple other like organizations getting together to show up. So it's supposed to start at 7. I would imagine if you wanted to get a parking spot, you're gonna have to show up earlier. And that's
What day was that?
I wish I had that. That's Tuesday, and at 7:00 the meeting starts. I can try to find real quick an address.
I bet that guy is really wishing someone hadn't been quick with their camera.
I
Well, the response that he's put out in the press was that he's
With
sorry that
patience.
he said he's sorry that he did it, but he's not apologizing about it. and the what would you call the person that's like this that controls the whole
Like the chairman. or
Mediator?
whatever.
chairman, the chairperson. Yeah, the chairperson's response was that there was no retaliation. He's going to keep a spot. So I think that's what's going to drive a lot of people.
Oh, that was a council person that did that?
Yeah, it was somebody on
Okay, okay.
Yep. He was flicking off the people because they were filming. Well, I don't know the gist of why he did. I'm not going to pretend to be in his head.
Yeah, I was just curious of like the context of everything. That makes sense.
Inappropriate. Or either
Definitely
way.
inappropriate by any official to do that for sure. Well, Birch Run, 7 p.m. That is important stuff for the rights of all of the growers, not only in Birch Run but everywhere else. If they start adopting these things in various places, they will start adopting them in more places. So you got to try to prevent that as much as possible. It's kind of a snowball that rolls downhill.
I'm going to attempt to share screen. Wow, this got a lot of steps to do this. Holy shit. It's giving me tips.
You can do it, Boomer.
Yeah, no.
Come on, man.
I'm
Birch
ignoring it.
Run
He's
is in
doing
like
it.
Saginaw area, isn't it?
Wow, it's
Bluefield?
asking.
Birch Run, like Frank.
share the tab.
Flint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just the
Yeah,
tab.
Birch Run's just north of Flint. I was actually up there today, and this is kind of off topic, and I don't want to take up too much.
Did you buy a
away
new-
from Spartan here?
new
I had to get
fanny
new
pack?
Crocs. Where are they at? I
New
don't know. I got
Crocs.
some-
That's
yeah,
a
I got
good
some new
topic.
Crocs,
Croc
man.
stores up
Oh,
there.
here we go.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah. It's hard to get my size. There he is. Fuck you,
Dude, that's
Fred.
all there is. There's a Croc store.
That's what I was gonna say.
There's an
It's so
apothecary.
empty. It's so
That's
wild,
it.
dude.
There's
I
nothing
remember
there.
growing up stopping there. It was packed.
What? There's
Like,
nothing there anymore.
There's nothing
There's
there,
the
dude.
address.
It's
No,
so
the,
empty.
yep.
It's so wild.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
Birch Run East or something is completely done. Like they're
Birch Run Township Hall.
Yeah, that was their claim to fame, dude. That and the bacon and shit.
Oh,
right?
You want me to pull that back up, Spartan?
yeah. The
Oh, that-
internet prevailed.
Did it not? Did it stop sharing?
I stopped it sharing because you pulled up the other screen. I thought you
Oh.
were done.
No, I was just trying to show the address there. That's all. I don't know if there's people listening.
No, yeah, we got the address. Birch Run Township Hall. I didn't say the whole address, but that should get you there on your Google Maps or whatever you're using on your phone.
Yeah, it's 11935 Silver Creek Drive, Birch Run, Michigan 48415. Tuesday, April 12th. Oh, beginning at 5 p.m. I was wrong on the time. Beginning at 5 p.m. It says. This is the people showing up. It looks like they're showing up 2 hours early. The actual meeting starts at 7, so this group is showing up as 5.
That's the type of energy you need to beat these guys that are flipping off the camera and very, very against cannabis. I know in the town that I work in, which is Coldwater, Michigan, I don't live there, but they were starting to propose the cannabis ordinances and stuff. And there was a lady in town that owns a funeral service that was so against cannabis. She was writing articles in the newspaper like every week, all sorts of shit. And now they have like 13 dispensaries down there. So you can fight the good fight. You can get the stuff passed. You can protect your rights.
Yeah,
These,
this one's
these
the
people
place.
don't have to stand in the way.
This was the one where they were requiring the DEA to come take care of your waste. Like this is the one. This is the place they were having just ridiculous. Like 5 acre. You have to have 5 acres to be a caregiver.
You have to have that in the township
Right.
that I'm in.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
they're
you
already
have to
trying to
live
do
there.
that at the state level.
That passed
yeah.
in my township.
Stacey Base was the one that was telling us about it
Assholes.
originally.
And you
Yeah,
can't
should
and
probably
you
be
can't
up
use
there.
cannabis if you're under 18 and a patient. If you're a medical patient under 18, you can't use cannabis in my township. The fuck out of here.
Eventually, those sort of ordinances will get tried in court, and I think a lot of them are going to lose, but it hasn't happened yet. So there's
Well,
going
this-
to
what it
be time
takes.
until then.
I have yet to hear of any of them being enforced, so I would just keep pushing the envelope to the
Yeah, they're not
enforcement.
being enforced.
Do the fuck out of them.
My township didn't give a shit about writing an ordinance. They wouldn't have cared if the MCMA wasn't a thing. I guarantee that my township wouldn't even have cared. They didn't care. They wanted to stay out of caregivers' business from conversations.
Right. You know
I've
that
had
somebody
with them.
got a hold of them and was like, hey, you know what you should do?
Yep.
This worked really good in this place. You should do this here.
That's exactly what happened. The
They're
municipal,
like the other
municipal organization or league or whatever. the fuck it is.
Well, how long do you think until the Birch Run outlets become this giant campus for growing weed? Because, like you said, man, those things are emptying out. They're gonna have
Well,
to do
now-
something with it.
That won't happen if they keep passing these ordinances. Who the fuck?
Well,
wanna
is it anti-caregiver stuff only? Because I mean, that's obviously a
Who wants
That's
to
a
live
good
there?
point.
Who's gonna
Dude,
wanna
yeah.
fuck-
That's a good point for Growly, because right now they're what would it be? Their economy in Birch Run, like you would think that was like one of the largest tourist. Well, like if you lived in Michigan, that was
Dude,
like
up
one
and
of
down
your
I-75.
largest
That was one of two
tourist
spots. It's that or West
stops.
Branch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's also the Christmas place.
Frankenmuth, but that's
Frankenmuth.
right off Birch Run.
Frankenmuth is right
Yeah,
next.
it's
Frankenmuth,
same
same
place.
thing. If you're going to
God.
Frankenmuth, you're going to the outlets.
Stab me with a fork.
Yeah,
But
man.
what's in between there? It's nothing but farmland.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's a good point because they can be anti-caregiver and pro-cannabis still, especially if they have
Oh
lobbying.
yeah, that works
groups
out
that
for
are-
that works out for
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
let me
That's-
just hit you with this: is realize that there's a tipping point in all this. Like, if you put many more fucking like humongous grows in, all it's gonna do is cause the bottom to drop out of this fucking market that much quicker.
I'd be
think
surprised.
we're-
There's still a huge demand. There's
Already
still a huge
happening.
demand.
It's already happening, but when you start, you can't. There's a tipping point. You can't just keep creating more and more product. You've got to be able to vend it.
Yeah, we
You know
saw
what
it
I mean?
happen in like Oregon and California.
That's the thing with vending. They need to start greenlighting more points of sale. That's the big thing that all the townships are opted out because that's what they're afraid of is the point of sale. A lot of these agricultural zones, they can handle farmers. They don't know how to handle the point of sale, and people
dude, it's
they fear people smoking weed and packaging.
You read
being
stuff
thrown.
like Luzerne, right, where they really opt in and they get. I think they have 7 different points of sale up there and a bunch of grow spaces. They doubled their tax revenue by embracing cannabis in that area.
Can,
No,
can we
so
look
you
at
need-
Warren though? Warren has unlimited recreational grows and processing, and I think I don't know how many medical, but probably the same with medical. And they have what, like 4 or 6 medical dispensaries and 0 recreational,
at most,
and that's
yeah.
that's the complete
That's
opposite
very
of a rural
surprising.
area. Yeah, I don't get it.
Detroit, you know, all of Detroit.
Most of them are
They're
going
shipping that
rectal.
shit
there,
across
in my
8
opinion.
miles. What they're doing, you know what I mean? They don't want it in Macomb County.
You know, there's a lot of people that want to keep it medical. Obviously, in Detroit, with the way that's
Guys,
fucking
it
awful.
passed. It's
yeah.
going adult use.
Detroit
officially in
passed through.
Detroit.
It's going through in the next couple months. There's
Applications.
applications available in June or something like that.
This is the second time it's passed. I'll
Yeah, I
believe
was
it.
going to say it passed before and then got struck down by the Supreme Court or whatever for being
Yeah, that hasn't been decided.
too much in favor of the people that had been arrested before and all the different social
Legacy
equity
market.
things they were doing.
Legacy market a leg up, and they said, nope, fuck that. We can't do that. That makes it unfair to people who've never had fucking deal with cannabis in their life, and they just want to make money.
Mhm. Yep. It was too fair to the caregivers, so they had to get rid of that, or that what they were trying to do there.
I liked it though because that's when you could go to a dispensary and you had no fucking clue what the fuck you were buying. You were just like, "Let me smell that." Oh shit!
Oh, and then
man,
you
I
get
don't
to
even
sign
know
a
what the hell
waiver that
this
said
is.
you knew it wasn't tested and it was grown.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
what? That was
wherever
part of
and all
the
that.
intake process. I was good with that.
They should still allow that. Why did that go away?
Nobody's dying
money,
smoking weed.
lobbying. That's about
Allow a
it.
waiver. As long as you sign a waiver, they should allow that. They should still allow the caregiver to
Dude,
bring
I'll
it.
even go get it tested, man.
Right.
Give me the logistical ability to get there though.
Show me
That's
a
where
reason
it
why
was
you
when I was trying to do it. Like I had a grow and I had a
Why wouldn't you use-
dispensary in a certain place that was offering me a lot of money, but I had to get it tested and they would take it and stuff. And at that time I didn't have a big enough grow, but if I did, then you know, that's what they were asking for. They wanted it to pass metric testing and then they would buy my caregiver product.
Well,
That's what I would like to see, you know, that's ideal.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard is happening is these big commercial places are taking all those little guys' weed and mixing it in with theirs. And they're taking all that product and that's what's flooding the market. So like all the other illegal, not even caregivers that are pumping out all this weed and they're footing the bill for them to do it and without licenses. And then they're just mixing it in.
I'd
Yeah, I
like
wonder
to
how
see
much of that backdooring is
I'm
going
not saying
on.
it's Mitten Spartan by any means.
No, I'm
Some
not
of
even.
our-
I'm not even admitting anymore. I'm just saying I'd like to
Thank
see the
you.
evidence of that because I just knew everywhere I walked I was under camera. So how the hell would you get away with that?
Yeah, that's
You want to know?
Vans,
Huh?
There's ways, I'm sure.
a delivery, all that's what I've been
Maybe on
told.
camera then. I'm just saying the fucking this camera's coming in the parking lot. This camera's fucking-
I've heard of some shops.
Everything at our work is on camera. I mean,
I-
we are actually okay. So the power went out and our cameras went down. We had to leave. We had to evacuate. I'm not evacuate, but we all had to leave the building. They wouldn't even let us in there without the cameras working. So
Poor girl is just waiting patiently.
sorry.
Oh, there's ways. There, I don't know that
Ways.
you know that needs all this stuff on the air or whatever, but yeah, they have ways to do that.
I'll just throw one out there. There's okay, so the grows, dispensaries, anything cannabis related on any of the many reservation properties or whatever you want to call it here in Michigan are not regulated the same way, but they can kind of bounce around back and forth in between those markets. So it's a point of entry, if you will, for not so regulated material from my understanding. I am not participating in that whatsoever, but I've heard of it a few times actually from different people. So I don't know, it seems, I guess that's one way to get around it. But yeah, I was with you, Spartan, until I heard that. I'm like, dude, everything's tagged seed to sale. Like, it's cameras everywhere. Like they'll go back and look at stuff. Like the second they get any sniff or any, whistleblower or anything like that, they're going to dig into it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be risking my license, but
there are shops that, like, I know because people have like gotten jobs there briefly and then like left and like, talking shit under the table is like, there's just garbage bags full of product laying around in storage rooms like without metric tags. Like they're selling, multi ounces to people, like half pounds to people, like because they're allowing them to come back and do multi transactions throughout the day, stuff like that, like all stuff that the MRA would say no to. But for some reason, Metric doesn't red flag this certain behavior, and so the MRA really doesn't know unless they do an audit. So like you said, there has to be a whistleblower, or there has to be. So yeah, I think that sometimes, like, because honestly, $100,000 a day is enough to pay some fines, possibly. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Or if you're just in it real quick, man.
If the only punishment is
license
fines,
in, make
then
some money and
that's
bail.
a whole different deal. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
They
licensing
shut
cost.
down. They do more than that. Like with Iron Labs, they
Right.
shut the fuckers down.
That's what I mean. But I mean,
They
if someone's business plan is to come in, make a few mil and bail, big fucking deal.
Yeah, I see.
You
what you're
know?
saying.
Yeah. So I mean, this is I
This
hate
is
to
not
say
the
it, but that's-
longevity market, right?
Exactly. A lot of people in this industry build up shop and they're gone in 60 days. They buy a house, they put it up, they're gone in 60 to 120 days. You know what I mean? That's this industry.
There's a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on right now too in this industry in Michigan,
I thought you said
particularly.
murders.
Yeah, well,
I did too. I was
those
like,
two,
That
right?
too.
Those two.
Murders and acquisitions. So that's changing the game a little bit too. I don't know. It's an interesting landscape.
Definitely. Yeah. It's definitely a complicated
It's still
situation
changing.
that they're running into.
Oh, ever changing. It's gonna be a long time till we get this shit figured out.
MSOs, power to purchase. You know what I mean?
What's an
Yep.
MSO?
That
Multi-state
multi-state
operator.
operator.
So like all of the big MCMA corporations are multi-state. Like they started in California and they own businesses here.
Well, they brought their lobbyists with them too, and they said this is what worked in California, so we already have a plan that you guys can enact in your state, and they have all the materials and shit handled.
Compliance directives, SOPs, and all that shit. And they come in and they purchase you out for a few million or multi hundreds of million or whatever it is. And
That's how it happened in Florida, right? They had like 6 licenses for the whole state, and all of them were like $40 or $50 million a piece. So who do you think pulls together the investment to do that? Nobody, So they're all owned by these big multi-state organizations.
Bum, 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 bum.
So you got two sides of the same thing. 'Cause in Michigan, we have a lot of licenses, so they're cheaper. But at the same time, you have companies that own 50 of them, so it's complicated. All right, 6 minutes left. Does someone have something positive to say?
Yeah.
around this thing?
I don't know if this is positive.
I was gonna go back down that. I was gonna go back down that.
I was going to
bottoming
say
out the
Spartan
market
mentioned
water
he's not at Mitten anymore. What?
Yeah, I guess I could address it. I've addressed it on the other shows. I'll address it here. I left Mitten because it came to my attention that some product was sold to Flourish specifically, which is an MCMA affiliate, Dispo here in Michigan. And when I talked to management about it, the owner about it. I wasn't satisfied that wasn't going to happen again. So I had to walk away from it. I've got no hard feelings or animosity there. I made some really good friends there. I just can't have my name behind that because, I came from the caregiver market, and whether they're going to put that title on me or not, I will forever be a caregiver, and I'm not going to shit on that. So I walked.
Yeah, you're preaching it on all
Sure.
the shows, right? So you're kind of practicing what you preach, but at the same time, you got the mitten hats behind you. A lot
Yeah.
of respect for those
Well,
guys,
yeah.
and no hard feelings. There's
No,
the
not at
hats.
all. I still support those guys, and to my knowledge, that's the only
Cheers,
the only
GM.
one. The only one. Thank you, GML. That's the only shipment that went to the MCMA, to their credit, that I'm aware of. And I've also heard that they've signed a long-term deal with a non-MCMA for some future harvests. So cheers to them. But I can't. I mean, they knew there was no doubt, among everybody there. They know how I felt about the MCMA. So
True that.
it was an easy decision. It wasn't.
That goes to
There's
show what the times are too, because I doubt he wanted to do that, but man, he's
Yeah, I'm sure he's just in a
gotta
hurry to
keep
move
the
something.
lights
And
on.
there's
I
no
don't think it was
question.
artistic. I don't think
There's
it
no
was
question about the integrity that this man has. I hope that's very clear to everyone. And I'm sure it
Exactly.
is. Anyone that's been following Spartan, especially in the last year or so. I applaud you, Spartan. I think it takes balls of steel to do what you do. And I think whoever or wherever you go is going to be extremely lucky to have you working for them or with them. So I don't know if you already have something lined up or what, but best of luck to you, and I'm excited to see what happens, man. But God, balls.
couldn't agree
of
more.
steel.
Put his money where his mouth is, right? Literally, that was the breadwinner right there.
Well, thank you for first and foremost. Thank you. But I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can just walk away and still be in decent shape. I've put some money aside, so I'm okay. And doesn't matter what I do at this point. My finances are in such order that I can work at the damn gas station and survive just fine. So I'm just kind of going to take a couple weeks off to decompress and relax for a second, and then then I'll see what I've already got things floating my way. I'm going to take a look at everything and make a decision. But I don't know, man.
What I think would be great, dude. Walmart greeter, dude.
Greeter is what I was going to say too. Yeah, get the vest,
dude.
man. Put the vest
Get
on.
the vest.
Do you know
Hello,
what I
welcome to
think would be great?
Walmart.
I think would be great would be working at a greenhouse. I think would be great.
Yeah, it would be.
I saw Bourdines is hiring.
Don't do it.
There you go.
I told my last job, least amount of responsibility possible. Had keys within fucking 6 months.
No paperwork. then.
That's because the turnover at these places is crazy.
Well, I think
People
a
will
lot
get
of that is
hired
the
and 5
pay.
days later be gone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm about the plant. I have a passion for it, and I'm not saying that that's not their passion there, but it's my number one passion, and you can't shit on it. I'm sorry. I come from the medical side of things. It's not a profit thing. I mean, fuck, I give RSO to people. You know what I mean? It's not. It's about the fucking medicine. And one thing I'm going to do is the big thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to step my game up. Step one on my RSO making. I'm going to look at some lab equipment rather than extract craft to try to up my game. I've been researching that the last couple of days, so that's kind of my
something I want to talk about.
first plan to do.
Yeah.
Upcoming
What-
content.
What do you need? Because I have, dude, some serious lab equipment sitting in my
Rotovac. I'm just going to start with a Rotovac, man. That's all I need. But that's
Okay.
pretty. I'm looking. Probably going to start at least 5 liter. I don't want to go.
Oh
much.
shit! I got a 2 liter, I think.
2 liter would be okay, I guess, but 5 liter would be way better.
We want that throughput. Spartan's got work to do for Growly.
Well,
Nothing but respect from us, Spartan, and all of the chat. You knew that you were going to get
Definitely.
that already, but you did. I really appreciate it very much. We're going to roll into our outros, but I wanted to thank Dick's Medibles, our sponsor, and everyone on the show. Mr. Growit, I would appreciate him and his viewers for joining us tonight. It was a really great show. Thank all of you guys for sharing your time with us. If you don't have anything to say real fast, I'm going to roll into the outro and we're going to get out of here.
I love you.
3, 2,
Cheers,
1.
everybody.